You son of a bitch.
You got the story about Champa getting surgery?
Yo, you get the SD card yet?
No, but I can't.
Okay.
I gotta order it. So.
Let me do this again.
Oh, it's live, pal.
Yo.
Welcome on into the latest edition of Hot Tag Wrestle Corner. I'm one half of your host, Rob.
I'm Clint.
And this episode's going to start off as we usually do with the news and reviews. We had a pay-per-view last week. We had to cover in Extreme Rules that we didn't cover on last week's show, so we'll bring it up this week. So I'm going to start off with the news, and we'll be right back. Hit it.
All right. First news story involving our favorite guy, one Jim Cornette. Said he wouldn't have a spot for Chris Jericho in AEW. And, of course, it's Jim Cornette, so I feel like every time it's something Jim Cornette, I feel like we gotta like bring it up just because the stuff he says is just like out this world. So he said, I said the same thing about Moxley, denying star power. That's why I kept Moxley and thinking that he will be able to do as instructed. Jericho at this point though, he would have been there, we've seen it all. I think if you were to keep him, you can't change Chris' mind. He firmly stuck in 15 years ago WWF. And he wants to be the guy, and he's trying to run everybody out his way. But if you control his personality, and you could send him home for a while with an injury or whatever, and let people miss him, he went away, bring him back as Chris Jericho, legendary wrestler. He's a baby face, and he comes back and has a program for another top guy. That might work. That might work, but he's just been hanging around for so long and doing stupid shit, and people are tuning out his droves, and he's surrounded with job guys so he can be the star, and he ain't getting nobody else. He ain't getting nobody over, so I wouldn't have a spot for him right now.
Dang, he banging, ain't he?
He always banging on somebody.
Are you plugged in?
Body.
Is she unplugged? Okay. Jake.
Next story is involving Shawn Michaels, involving the incident he had with 6 Marines in 1995. So, he was on Logan Paul Impulsive podcast, and Clooney got into a brawl with 6 Marines in 1995. 5. That night sent him to the hospital. Yeah, I think you will go to the hospital. You get into a fight with 6 Marines. I mean, he said on the night he was beaten up by 6 Marines. He said, I know as much as I wanted, as much as I known back then because I was hammered. Then I woke up in the hospital. Sean Waltman, who of course we all know as X-Pop, version of it, my fault, Michael's opinion on his version of that night. He said, I don't know how accurate that is because we're all not in the best shape. I'm sure I was being obnoxious, but I have no recollection of that. And the point about how he blacked out during that incident. The last thing I can remember is dropping my coat off that coat check. Then I'm waking up in the hospital. Unfortunately, I was in that position a lot of times. I would wake up in the emergency room and go get 3 or 4 more hours of sleep, go to the gym, go wrestling. Excuse me. I was very functional. This is back, of course, y'all remember Shawn Michaels openly has admitted that he was not the best person to work with in his earlier times in WWE. Next story. More Shawn Michaels. He speaks on his relationship with The Rock in WWE, saying he don't think it was bad as everyone made it up to be. So, of course, we all know the fact that this is a story that came from Bret Hart, that The Rock never liked Shawn Michaels because he always felt that Shawn always tried to like dog him backstage, and always try to like hold him down basically. So he said that they never worked together in a match, and he openly always admit that he always used to give people a hard time when he was younger. And he said his relationship with The Rock ain't as bad as everyone makes it seem, but he understand that he was a different person when he was younger. He said, I never worked with him, but I work with his daughter. She's here at the Performance Center. So the times I seen him, we always got along okay. I'll say this. I don't think it was bad as everybody made it up to be. I know that again, I gave everyone a hard time back then because I was younger. But when I came back, I made sure I went up to everyone and say sorry. You know what I mean? It's the best you can do. He talks about when The Rock came back in 2002. And he said, when I came back in 2002, I keep on saying 2002. In 2002, I knew that there was going to be like, yeah, we'll see. But it's important to me to go around and make amends and at least tell everybody I'm sorry about the way I was. And I got no excuse, but I want to earn back whatever. If you never talk to me again, that's cool. I understand that. We're going to go into next news story here. Bear with me. I'm trying to share and read news stories at the same time here. So I apologize if I'm going a little bit off the delay here. Kurt Angle reveals that he wanted to be in a band with Chris Jericho. Okay, so on the Kurt Angle show, pull back up, there you go. Kurt Angle discussed his fandom for Kiss and how he had an idea to start a rock band with Chris Jericho. Below some of the highlights, he talked about his fandom for Kiss. He said he loved Kiss. He said he loved Kiss. Peter Criss was his favorite drummer. He actually took drums because of Peter Criss and learned lessons for 20 years. He really became good at it because he wanted to be Peter Criss. He said he finally got to meet him at a Comic-Con. Of course, where else would you get a chance to meet somebody that would be at a Comic-Con? And he said he was elated. He said, I was excited. I'm like, Peter Criss, could you take a picture with me? He's like, Kurt Angle, relax. I know who you are, and I want to take a picture with you as well. Holy crap, I was excited, man. It's the coolest thing in the world knowing that this guy knew me. I wanted to play in the band with Chris Jericho. He said, nope, I never played in a band. I would play in the studio at my house. I would play music. I would drum to it. But I actually wanted to do a band. I actually came with the idea with Chris Jericho. I wanted to start a band in WWE, make some songs, and have WWE produce it. I mean, ain't the first time. I mean, you remember he had the whole rap battle with John Cena, which was actually a very funny segment. Okay. There we go. Okay, next story. Cody Rhodes points out that his AEW as it had nothing to do with the leader CM Punk. So earlier this week, a fan put up a photo showing the Elite, and which is Matt and Nick Jackson and Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes standing there, which would be right before the first AEW event, Double or Nothing. This led to a exchange with the former AEW and Curry superstars comment on his exit. He wrote, I didn't leave because of the Bucks, Kenny. I am forever bonded to those men over what we created. I remain very proud of it. And I didn't have any issues with Punk. We got along, not money, not booking, just a personal issue, and I wanted to go for the big one. And of course, he's talking about the reason he said he left was because of the fact that he wanted to get the WWE championship. So that was probably one of the big things on his bucket list, and the fact that he finally get a chance to compete. Well, he's out injured, unfortunately, but he's probably going to take that belt when he come back, though. Mick Foley talked about the damage his body has taken over the course of his career. He said over the damage he done to his body. He said, I'm looking at all these things I did during the course of my career. I mean, I'm paying a steeper price than I thought imaginable. I thought, oh yeah, some of my hips are going to be sore. My knees are going to be hurting. I'm going to be arthritic. That's what I meant. But now I'm curved around like this. I know saying tough times are relative. Then there are people are saying I would trade lives with you. I'm getting up at 6 a.m. I'm working 2 jobs to make ends meet. Then he tells a story about how a doctor told him he'll never wrestle again, even when he was still an active competitor. So he said, I met with Dr. Cantu. I came back 2 weeks later. He looked me in my eyes and said, you should never wrestle again. I looked him in the eye and said, I can work an entire match around my left knee. And I'm proud of that. It's almost if I can't have here's life, Mr. in your house. No one came through bigger when it mattered less than I wanted to. I can work an entire match around my left knee because it showed me doggone I was still one of the boys. He looked at me and said, Mr. Fun, when we met 2 weeks ago, you struck me as a bright young man. He said, since then I've been reading about you. You got a lot going on for you. He looked me dead in my eyes and said, if you want to get another neurologist to clear you, that's your business. But I'm telling you should never wrestle again. What that did, and essentially a matter of throwing in a towel. That's somebody taking the bat out of my hands, and I felt this enormous sense of relief. I really did. Go to a little lighter, funnier story here. Matt Hardy talked about on his podcast how on one occasion Booker T wanted to fail a drug test to get some time off. He said, speaking of Booker, there's this one time whenever they was doing, obviously drug tests and suspensions or whatever. I don't know what it is. He was talking shit. I'm working too hard. He said, I wanted to drug test. I want to fail. He said, give me the suspension. I want a vacation. Give me the suspension. Give me the 30. Give me the 30. And he was on that trip all day long. I remember dying about that. Once again, he's just a funny dude. Buff Bagwell recalls why Shane McMahon nearly fired him from WWE.
I got a Buff Bagwell story too.
So this was at the time of the Monday Night Raw, the Invasion angle in which Buff Bagwell battled Booker T for the World Heavyweight Championship before the storyline started. Of course, Booker kept the title. He said we were in Tacoma, Washington, and that's what gives Atlanta. Now you are Vince McMahon. You're gonna put us in Tacoma, or you're gonna wait 7 days and put us in Atlanta? They called it the invasion. We are invading Alaska. Little things I never told nobody. They went to play my music. Booker went out first. Think about it. He had 2 belts and I went out second. I never saw that before. He may have not gotten music. I would have to check that. But my pyro was off the charts. Here's what I was told 10 seconds before I came through the curtain. Out of nowhere, like a ghost, Shane appears. He says, Mark, you can't look into the camera. I go, what? He goes, you can't look into the cameras. I go, what? He goes, you can't look into the cameras. I go, Shane, that's all I do. I look into the cameras. I pose and wear that. That's my whole gig. He said, you can't do it or you're fired. Fired. He said, I want you to watch a Buff Bagwell match anytime the year before and then watch that match. I don't look near the camera that whole time in 3 years. That takes me completely out of my world. I come out, do the pyro, do the posing, but then it's like, where's the camera? I see it and I start talking to someone over there. I was out of my game right there. That took my leg off right there. I was told not to look into the camera. I was fired. That's funny. Triple H, of course, Triple H, since he took over, he has brought back numerous superstars: Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, Scarlett, Bray Wyatt, Io Sky at Hit Row, minus Swerve Scott. We weren't given a chance by Vince McMahon. Well, there's 2 more names that Triple H is looking to bring back. One of them is Tegan Knox. Knox, of course, she's been dealing with visa issues, so she really hasn't been able to wrestle that period of time.
Can we call her the Keenan Allen of the WWE?
No, her injury's been unfortunate. Her just been ACL tears. Like, she can't,
Alright. I'm drafting players. She's on my do not draft list.
Yeah, she'll be on mine too, unfortunately. But she was heavily featured in NXT when Triple H was running the brand. She was even set for a bigger push before she stayed in. Of course, I think she was slated to win the Mae Young Classic before she tore ACL in the match against Rhea Ripley. So, and she was always geared to get pushed big by Triple H too. She just got unlucky. It just injuries always just seem to like just derail her. And then another person who's possibly coming back, and this one possibly set in stone. Chelsea Green may be returning to WWE too. It was reported that they had interest in bringing her back. Now, a new report from PW Insider note that she's finished with Impact and she's expected to be WWE bound in the future.
Don't everybody be finished with Impact?
Shoot, this the thing.
And I'm not shitting on Impact when I say that. But man, I swear they be losing wrestlers in droves. Like, they have such like a pit stop. They're like the taint of wrestling right now. Like, they're the pit stop for where you want to go if you're trying to make it to the pussy or the ass, whether that be WWE or AEW. Depending on what your preference is, those are the main holes you want to fuck. So, they're like in the in-between space, and people just stop there in between to the, I jump back in that pussy or that ass, whee, and then they go back. For example, they just lost the Kingdom Cats with Maria Kanellis, Mike Kanellis, not that that's losing that much, but the Matt Taven dude with them, he's alright. So they're with AEW now. Then they just lost Emma. They just lost Madison Rose. They just lost, and I'm saying this all within like the last 2-3 months. Who did you just say just signed back?
Well,
You just met somebody else to sign back at WWE.
Chelsea Green, Bobby WWE.
Chelsea Green, that's another one. She was with them. And I got a story I would bring up about Billy Corgan and NWA wanting to work with WWE possibly, which means that they can possibly have Matt Cardona back over there in WWE again. Woo, 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 you know it.
No,
and
he
that's
said
her
Zack
husband.
Ryder, yeah, he said his Zack Ryder character dead, so if he come back, he ain't come
Ain't
back.
gonna be no more woo, woo, woo?
No, he might come back as for Matt Cardona.
If you get the one you got in GCW, that could be dope.
She filled them.
Wait. Here's the only problem with that. They already have that in his name's The Miz. It's basically the same character to me, but I don't know.
She filmed a exit vignette with Deanna Pizarro at the last set of Impact tapings. There's been a lot of talk on the least believe that she's heading back to WWE. This goes back to 3-4 weeks ago. It's not set in writing, but the fun is that she's not gonna give up regular booking with Impact. At least she's signed with a bigger promotion. She was in action in the main event, Impact main event team with Gazelle, Shaw, and Pizarro to take on Mickey James, Taylor Wilde, and Jordan Grace. This was taped at last week Impact takings. She worked one more match against Mickey James. That match should air. This is the 27th, so this match should probably air next week's on Impact. And this deal will be for main roster, not WWE. Not for main roster, not NXT. Also, it's also reported too that she's been working in Impact without a contract. So that's another thing Impact have a lot of people do. They got a lot of these cats over here wrestling with no contract.
The cats want freedom. Listen, that's why I say they're the taint. Nobody wants to stay there. They want to bounce to the one or the other. That's the in-between zone. So they're trying to figure out, as they do Impact, they also have an open-ended contract. Like, well, if I get an offer from a bigger bro, I'm rolling. I bet you that's what it is every time. It's like, all right, to not be so nasty about it, and I call it the taint and the pussy and the assholes. Let's switch it up. Look at it like hockey, okay? In hockey, they have these two-way contracts where if you pass waivers, you can go down to the minor leagues, you know what I'm saying? But if you don't pass waivers and you get snatched up, you're no longer with that team, you know what I'm saying? So they're like that waiver zone where it's like, all right, I'm here waiting to get snatched up. That's basically what they are, seemingly. Yeah. Sorry for those who are giant Impact fans who don't agree with that. Like, no, they're mid-major. They're working on it. Like, listen, y'all barely surviving at this point, but y'all got a little fan base that seem to come up to y'all foreign to see the arena every week.
Yeah, they got the loyals. I mean, I could see them.
I'm glad they have fans coming again at all. They seem like that for a while. They're like those Burger Kings that came back after the pandemic, but you can't go in the lobby. It's only the drive-through. That was Impact for a while. Yeah. And now they got fans back.
I mean, I can see Triple H plotting to picking off some of the people there. I want him to bring back Deonna Purrazzo, but I think she's actually killing it over there in
You know,
Impact.
he
though.
could. That was the name I was about to say. You know who else I think he could bring back? Her dude. Steve, is it Steve Blake? Or was he Steve Blake when he was with WWE? He's in Impact right now. And he's actually hovering around the world title picture. What's his name? It's Steve something, bro. I swear I want to say Steve Blake, but the last name isn't Blake. He's Impact. He was with the Honor No More dudes. The Forgotten Sons. Not Honor No More, Forgotten Sons.
Oh,
He was part of the tag team, dude.
I know what you're talking
Not
about.
Riker, one of them other dudes. It's Steve something. I can't remember his last name. But he's with Impact.
Wesley Blake, I think.
That's the other guy. No, not him. The other guy.
It was Jason Riker and Wesley Blake.
It was three of them. It was the two dudes that was the tag team and him. Remember the tag team left him because he had made that racist ass comment? The three of them was the Forgotten Sons. Anyway, he was one of them. Just okay. So he was one of the Forgotten Sons. I can see them bringing him back because he's been doing good work as a single. So I can see him coming back. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I said some people that he probably can pluck from there. I mean, and bring back. I mean, I think Deonna Purrazzo, right, the way the women division that is right now, like she actually will have some great matches there. Again, she just got bought up. So I don't know. Last story. Goldberg detailed his initial meeting before signing with WCW. So after making his debut on September 22nd, he went 161 in all company programs before being defeated by Kevin Nash, which by the record, Chris Jericho said they faux pas that record because he'll be like 10-0, and then next Nitro he'll be like 20-0. Like how you fight 10 matches? Like what's the name? He said that he met with WWE officials. Turn this mic around so I don't have to.
There you go. Sounds like you leaning forward.
Yeah. Yeah. He discussed how he met with WCW representatives. Even though he was given a training contract, he felt something wasn't right. Like you're wrestling. He said that he lived in Atlanta. WCW was where it was based. All those guys I knew. He noted to Jim Ross that he didn't have an agent. Oh no, Mr. McMahon hates agents. So I thought, okay, I gotta get one. So I go in there, meet with Vince and Jim Ross. They offered me a training deal. I flew back to Atlanta and I called the owner of WCW, Eric Bischoff at the time. He elaborated on how he wanted to join World Championship Wrestling. Later became one of their main faces, signed a private relationship with Eric Bischoff as the reason. Our paths crossed. I'm not going to tell you how, but we've seen each other a number of times in other places. I called him. I said, "Listen, here's the deal. I want to do this wrestling gig." The fact that he just like it just shows he ain't take this shit seriously. Seriously, like just the way he just said that. I'm not gonna be one of those $500 throw around the ring punks. I'm gonna make a difference in this business, and that's just the confidence I had. Yeah, okay. What's the name? But that is the end. That was actually the last news story I had. So.
All right, I'm gonna get that guy's name in a second for you. But let me get to my news story since we're here. All right, so starting off first, Ace Steel seemingly references AEW All Out Fallout. Quote, the manipulators, or quote, without the D part, manipulators hate boundaries. He's recently been released over his involvement with the backstage fight after All Out. Took the Instagram story seemingly allude to the whole situation. The moment you put a stop to people taking advantage of you and disrespecting you is when they define you as difficult, selfish, or crazy. Manipulators hate boundaries. So he's saying some false accusations there, but I'm not believing that. I've been hearing more and more like people on CM Punk's side are trying to plant stuff to make him seem like he's not such a bad guy. Like, oh, he was just trying to make sure Larry's dog didn't get hurt, and that's why he was pissed off. Like, nah, that doesn't sound about right. Not to me. Buff Bagwell weighs in on working with DDP on his addiction recovery. Buff Bagwell is working with DDP on his addiction recovery, and the WWE and WCW alum discussed the matter in a new interview. Bagwell appeared on Insight with Chris Van Vliet, and you can check it out. A couple highlight videos. If you get a chance to go on their site, where I got this information from, quote, On the latest stage of recovery, he said, "This time I had a lot on the line, man. I had a lot on the line going along with my age, along with my maturity, and I was ready. I was tired. I was really tired, man. I was tired, and I would have asked for help if I would have known really all about it. But so much is going on. I still make a lot of money and still trying to get managed my life. We're trying to do all these things to keep going, but my life became unmanageable." Before I continue reading this, I asked him injury. So they made a crime in sports about him. And did you know? So you know how his mama's name is Judy, right? Really his name? Really her name? Okay. He leaves the business. You know, he was on that Gigolo show and stuff like that. And this is before he really started like going downhill with like his sobriety and shit. Meets a chick and gets married. And guess her name?
Judy.
No. So he meets a Judy, and then and then his shit really starts going downhill. He gets all these DUIs, and he's just out here geeked and stuff. And he's just doing bad. So DDP is trying to save me right now with the help. Speaking of which, I'm working with DDP to stay clean. Both the sky's the limit, man. I'm excited again, and that's dangerous. To me, it's great and dangerous. You got me and Dallas together, and we're both. Dallas is always excited, but to get me excited with him, it's just like the sky's the limit. Recovery. I mean, I've never been used to recovery and sobriety in a sentence form. He said he's never been able to use the words in the sentence form. Okay? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. All right, so next news story we have here. More notes on how all the originals AEW deals were for, including Jericho and Omega. Previously reported, Chris Jericho has a new deal with AEW that keep him with the company until 2025. It's not confusing on how long the original deal ran for. Jericho's deal originally was for 3 years when he signed it back in January 2019, which means it would have ran up sometime this year. Omega had the same deal, though it's been extended due to some time off. Most times that 3-year deals were options for 2 more, like the Bucks and Omega. Jericho and Omega did not apply to that. Jericho specifically negotiated a new contract with Tony Khan back in 2020. Now he's on this one. The past month, he negotiated the latest contract that runs until 2026. Still don't know how much the deal is worth, though. Our next story, AEW stars reportedly refused working with CM Punk. Chris Jericho allegedly spoke with Punk after their all-out brawl. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that following the conclusion of the investigation of the brawl all-out, it believes that CM Punk will not be back at AEW. Several of the top people in the company have said he's done, while several, if not all, the top names are reportedly refusing to work with him. One of those names mentioned was Chris Jericho. Another one said that AEW has decided he's gone, even if some are willing to work with him. It's noted that he had been voted off the island. Quote. Speaking of Jericho, Fightful Select asked that ROH champion actually spoke with Punk following the brawl, and allegedly told him that he was a cancer to the locker room and a deterrent to the company. There's no word on what Punk said exactly, but he basically told Jericho it wasn't his business and needed to leave. Sources close to Punk confirmed the meeting took place. Jericho praised backstage for stepping up after all out, including appearing at the scrum, leading a town meeting and aftermath, and adding more responsibility to his role when resigning to the company. It's believed that AEW is negotiating with Punk on a buyout for the rest of his contract. Next story on the docket. WWE announces company's quarterly dividends. Per company's website, WWE announced company quarterly dividend of a 0.12 share for all Class A and B shares for common stock. The record date for the dividend has been announced as December 15th, as the payment date is December 27th. I was trying to read some more into it. It didn't give me enough in the story, but just to let you know how business is going for them right now, especially in the months since Vince has been gone. Those results are in. We'll get more on that later. Chujutsu Okada says AEW is great promotion and wants the next forbidden door in Japan. In a recent interview with Sports Illustrated ahead of New Japan Rumble on 44th Street.
How about you focus on hitting the Rainmaker in the match, okay? How about that?
You're not feeling the money clip.
Man, fuck that money clip.
New Japan wrestler Kazuchika Okada discussed AEW versus New Japan Forbidden Door and more. Here's some highlights below. Okada not getting not getting to meet Daniel Bryan at Forbidden Door. I was hoping to meet Brian
Ooh, that would be a good match.
Brian Danielson at Forbidden Door. He said I was hoping to meet Brian Danielson at Forbidden Door, but unfortunately that couldn't happen since we couldn't talk backstage. I'm happy to meet him in the ring next time. Okada on AEW. AEW is a great quote. AEW is a great promotion. I definitely feel that. In my time there are places where we win out over New Japan and areas where New Japan is superior as well. I think both sides came with something to learn and work on. And I'd love to have another event with those lessons learned. Last time I was in Japan, so let's shoot for one. Last time I was in the U.S., so let's shoot for it in Japan next time. At tomorrow's Row on 44th Street, Okada will team with Eddie Kingston against Blood Club members Jay White and Juice Robinson. At Wrestle Kingdom 17 in January, Okada will challenge Jay White for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship again. Kind of expecting Jay White to retain there, but wouldn't be surprised if Okada had another reign. He is there. I don't know. They always say that Ace is their John Cena, but I kind of think Okada's their John Cena at this one. More on updated investigation into the All Out Brawl. Reported last week, Elite returned to AEW season with last night's episode, with the earlier reporter stating that it was imminent. On the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that the investigation into the brawl is over, with the Elite seemingly on their way back, and Punk not being mentioned. He noted it should be explained how the investigation went. It was noted the incident happened as CM Punk had described, with Larry the Dog getting hurt, and opposite would be true. However, a source noted to Meltzer that this was an outright lie. Punk is injured and could not return right now anyway, but it remains to see if he ever will come back. There's rumors that AEW Punk have been negotiating a buyout. It is noted that none of the people involved in the incident are allowed to talk about it. CM Punk's dog was reportedly hurt during the all-out brawl. Alright, I swear, this is the last time I'm going to bring these shits up. We're going to move on from this now that this shit's over. Report has been new details in the backstage altercation that occurred at the AEW All Out, including those from CM Punk's dog getting hurt in the situation. Wrestling Inc. reports that they have reached out to people close to Punk about the matter, and that AEW has not spoken with Punk since the incident. As is well known by now, the altercation took place after Punk's comments during the All Out media scrum that resulted in the post-all-out media scrum that resulted in things getting physical between Punk, Ace Steel, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. The report notes that according to Punk's camp, the scrum itself was not believed to be a big deal, and that things had escalated once Punk's locker room door was kicked in and accidentally hit Larry the Dog, Punk dog. So the door hit him, and somebody kicked it in, and that's what pissed him off. The situation led to two of Larry's teeth being knocked loose. Damn, dog's head was by the door and got smacked. We learned during the pre-scheduled veterinarian appointment a few days later. It was noted that Punk felt threatened per his site, his legal way under Illinois' castle doctrine laws, and those laws allow for use of force in defense of a person in their dwelling. There's no legal action in this time against Punk or on behalf of anyone involved in the matter. Afterwards reported, Steele's wife was in the room during the whole situation. Reports noted she had not yet been interviewed as part of the investigation by AEW. Punk was asked to stay quiet about the matter after the brawl, so he agreed to do so. It was finally noted that after Hangman Page's comments back and made that Punk took offense to, Punk apparently had a lack of trust going into his match with Page at Double or Nothing. Was concerned the match and not turned into an actual fight.
Oh God, he's coming more and more like a diva. More and more, I hear these stories about him.
WWE reached its highest stock value.
Stay away from him, Triple H. Please stay away from him.
I don't think he will. WWE reached its highest stock value in several years. Vince McMahon's stock value surges. WrestleNomics Brandon Thurston reports WWE hits the highest market value since 2018 with the company's overvaluations after the company made its last U.S. TV deal in 2018 started to burst. The stock price for the company is currently valued at $79 per share, $5.88 billion market cap. Additionally, the stock price has been seen an increase of 19% since McMahon had resigned from his post as company's chairman and CEO in July. This is the story I was looking for. This reportedly puts his company equity at $2.27 billion. McMahon still holds 28.7 million shares of WWE stock. This means the stock value increased to $1.89 billion from when he had resigned in July to $2.27 billion today. That's an increase of $367 million. It's a lot of fucking shit. And this is after they took him off of TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Money.
Rich getting richer. Money. Rich getting richer. So that was the last of my stories. Let's get into, we were starting with Extreme Rules.
We did Extreme Rules last week.
We did? I thought we didn't.
No, we did. I gotta do Halloween Havoc. That's
Oh, I had the wrong pay-per-view on mine. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
This is your department.
Oh, yes, it is my department. I pull it back up. All right, so Halloween Havoc, first NXT event. The first NXT event, Triple H has had reigns over. Well, is it Triple H? I think it's more Shawn Michaels probably. Anyway, Halloween Havoc. Let's get into it. Of course, we all know our hosts are Shotzi Blackheart and Quincy Elliott, the Super Diva, what he calls himself. Next is our Fatal Five-Way title match for North American title. Got Oro Mensah versus Wes Lee versus Carmelo Hayes versus Nathan Frazier. And of course, you need a big guy in the match. So, Von Wagner in this match. Normal brawl. Frazier basically takes all the villains outside. Then he takes a big dive on the Wagner. Ladder gets brought in by Mensah. Frazier gets together. They take down both Hayes and Lee. Lee gets the ladder, start cleaning house with the ladder, put it in Wagner's rib cage. Then he cuts off a climb. Mensah goes up there. Frazier takes the ladder down, but Lee rides the ladder and crashes onto Nathan Frazier. Hayes hits Mello don't miss into the ropes on Lee. Frazier hits a nice springboard reversal Spanish fly onto the ladder. Von Wagner is back up finally. Hits a choke slam, but Lee kicks him to the floor. Trick Williams turns the ladder over on Mensah, who lands on top and dives on everybody. Mr. Stone. So Robert Stone tries to go up to get the ladder, I guess to get the belt, and Trick Williams hits him with a shoe. So, so anything around, he just gets basically just what's the name. Williams shoves the ladder down. Stone crashes to the floor. Wagner throws the ladder at Frazier. Mensah gets back up. Then Frazier puts Wagner on the ladder. Frost splash that puts Wagner through the ladder. Then Lee takes Hayes down, grabs a big ladder. Wagner basically launches him over and onto the announce table. It ain't break, so that's a hard impact. Poor Wes Lee. It got thrown onto the announce table. It ain't the first time. It was the stupid jacket dude. I remember Von Wagner picked him up and threw him like into the crowd. But they was the crowd was supposed to, I think, catch him, but they bagged out the way.
Damn, he hit the ground hard.
He ain't hit the ground hard, but anyway, so what's his name? Yakmin Iro? Ain't that his name?
Who?
I don't know, the dude that with Jacket Time. Where's the jacket? Ain't it Yakmin Iro or whatever? Ain't that his name?
Say it again.
I don't know his name. What is it?
Ikemen Jiro, bro.
I don't care about him anyway.
I was going to hear you say it again because that's fucking hilarious.
Hey,
say
sorry if I ain't a fan of you.
Say it one more time.
If I ain't a fan of you on this show, I ain't take person. I don't try. I don't know that.
Try to say it one more time.
Well, I called him Akmin Euro. I mean, that. But apparently, I don't know. That's not his name, though. What was it again? Say it again. I'm not gonna do him like that.
Ikemen Jiro.
Okay, Ikemen. The way I said it sound better. Like your name is Ikemen. Like that. The way I said it sound better. Okay. I think the way I said
that's
it
probably
sound
a man
better.
government. That is not his. That's a slave name. That's not his government.
Wagner goes up. Frazier hits a springboard to cut him off. Wagner goes over the barricade, does some kind of move, but gets hit with the ladder again. Frazier and Mensah go up the ladder. They slug it out. Frazier come crashing down. Hayes pulls Mensah into another ladder. Wesley takes him down. Lee goes up. Hayes cuts him off. A ladder is bridged between the rope and the standing one. Lee drops Hayes. Hayes onto that ladder, climbs up, gets the title at the 16-minute mark. So Wes Lee is your North American champion.
So Solo Sikoa didn't get that back?
No, I remember he never because of the fact that the match he wasn't like the contender. The match I think was like sanctioned or something, so Michaels had to make him vacate the title. It just did just to show that like to help him like he come up on SmackDown and they like, oh well, goddamn, I mean, well, another member of the bloodline, came in, took the go. So I think they did that more for storyline base. Next, the night before, Alba Fire challenged Mandy Rose to meet her in the graveyard. So Toxic Attraction hop in the car and ride off. Then we go to that graveyard. Of course, Toxic Attraction the heel, so they're scared. They walking around. They head into a spooky old house. JC Jane is the one that's left alone. It's an old theater. Someone moves behind her and she screams. Then we get Gigi Dolan, who winds up in the dining room floor where she finds Chucky. Then someone in the mask and red hair jumps her. And then the door to the head rocks the woman who shockingly is Alba Fire. Dolan opens the refrigerator, finds somebody inside, gets knocked inside by Alba. Mandy Rose, who kicks a monster low but gets jumped by Alba Fire as well. She misses the baseball shot. Rose takes the bat away only to get dropped again. Fire says she isn't like everyone else. She drives off. Next on the agenda is hold on. Gotta try to recover my notes. There you go. We get a recap of Grayson Waller versus Apollo Crews. Waller cheated for this match. They spun the Will the Deal match. We get a casket match. So, casket match between Apollo Crews, Grayson Waller. Waller elbows him down. Crews does the Undertaker sit up and stare. Then they go outside, hits a moonsault onto Waller. They brawl into the rack. They brawl heading up the ramp. And then a suplex drops Crews so hard that he basically eats a hard suplex on the ramp. They fight over by the announce table. Waller gets a shot with a pin. Go over top where Waller shoves him off through the lid of the casket. Waller thinks he won this match, but then the lights go off. Crews comes down the aisle with the Druids and another casket. Back inside, Crews unload on Waller, pulling a gut buster to put him in the casket. Waller fights out, slams the casket lid on Crews' head. They both wind up inside. They fight it out until Waller sends them back inside for the patented rolling stunner. Waller does the Undertaker throat slit, tries a tombstone for it to be reversed to a gut buster. That's not enough to put Waller in, so Crews slams from the apron to the casket and wins the match at 12 minutes. 12 minutes. This is the one match I didn't like on here.
The Buried Alive match?
It's gonna be a casket match, and it was like Paul Crews basically just doing his like Undertaker thing. He was sitting up and doing like Undertaker moves. It wasn't. Back to Chase U. Something good. Where Andre Chase ain't having for student lacking knowledge about Halloween having 1995. They also have a new.
Wait. Why would they know 95? That's not in the famous one.
Yeah, he ain't happy with his students lack of knowledge about Halloween having 1995.
I know, but why would they need to know about that?
I don't know.
Goof ass nigga. Go ahead.
They also have a new student, poor Duke Hudson. That's the new student. So.
Yeah, that's an emotion for him.
Who shows up Bodie Hayward. Chase said he expects more from Bodie. So he actually knows something about Halloween having 1995. Alba Fire is on her way back with Mandy Rose in the back seat. Next we get Pretty Deadly and Kaden Carter and Katana Chance are backstage telling them they're ready to retain the tag team champions. Shit. Nah, we get to a wild weapon match. This was Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. Look how they went back there. Perez started this thing off. Guess what the first weapon she brings out?
Candlestick.
No, a skateboard, because that's how this whole shit started. Except hers didn't break this time when she goes to use it. Use it. The fight is on. Jay gets taken down. Skateboard foot trip on the floor. Jade is back with some spray to the face and swings into the barricade. Cora blocks him, grabbing a chair, then put a trash can over her head. Jay hits a reverse chin lock. Jay misses a chair shot. Perez dives on her. Pop rocks get blocked. They brawl again. Head through the crowd to the balcony, where a Russian leg sweep takes them down through a table below. Then Perez hits the pop rocks into a bunch of chairs for the win. NXT deadline is on December 10th, so that's their next pay-per-view. Shotzi is back and dressed as Beetlejuice. Talk about how great tonight's been. Quincy Elliott comes out here dressed as a banana. That's your boy.
What? Hold on.
That's your boy. That's your dude.
Oh, how I got it.
Super Diva. That's the Super Diva.
How I got it.
Because you're the one that put that NXT level up on, and we actually watching.
But no, that don't mean like I knew he was coming on. Like, oh, cause Watson's my boy. Yeah.
But you knew DC, you could have turned from that shit though. But you left it on anyway. You bought that on yourself.
You was half asleep. You ain't even watching the shit. What you talking about?
I was in and out of sleep. And I seen too much. More than I wanted to see.
It contributed to your sleeping. Put you back to sleep.
Last Legend comes out. It says she should be hosting for Elliott says she's not fabulous enough to host. Shotzi lays her out with a DDT. And then as Elliott starts dancing, she spanks him. Schism is here. They talk about welcoming more people into the hold and add that the person in the red hoodie is ready to reveal themselves. They will do that Tuesday. They all wear yellow masks. Damon Kemp is ripping apart Diamond Mine. Julius Creed agreed to fight Damon Kemp in an ambulance match for Brutus Creed's future. Roger Strong is still in a wheelchair. He's lurking around here. Starts the ambulance match off right here. Creed, they start with Creed throwing pumpkins at him, then hits a drop kick, then hits a nice German suplex. As Kemp has a chair in his hand, they already at the ambulance. Creed throws him in. Kemp uses a crush to block the door. Then some shots put Creed down, then a suplex onto the floor. Creed gets rocked with some steel steps, gets away from Kemp though, slams the ambulance door on him. Julia kicks it in his face. Back inside where Kemp plants him on the steps. Takes some time to pose. They go outside. Julia ties him to a wheelchair with a crutch. Rolls him around the fans. Rolls him around as the fans want to pump him. It was so funny too. The fact that like he tied him to a wheelchair with a crutch. So just with a crutch. Like he got the crutch like over his butt and he just like tied to the wheelchair and he just like runs him around, which is funny. Kemp puts him in a rolling cart and head towards the ambulance. Creed is sent inside, but the door is slammed on his hands. Fight out again. They head backside where Julius unloads them with chair shots. Powerbomb onto a stretcher. Julius takes him to the ambulance for the win. We get the ambulance lead. We see Alba Fire here with Mandy Rose. We ran for our women's title match. Mandy Rose versus Alba Fire. Starts off fast. Rose slams her down for two before hitting some forearms. Fire kicks her in the chest. Spinebuster out the corner, give Rose a two, but Fire takes her down again. Swanton plants Mandy. Tops the trash and come pull the referee. Alba Fire kicks JC Jane to the referee. She hits the gory bomb. Ref is out, so there's no need to count. Toxic the trash and go high-low. Mandy finishes off with the running knee at 7:05. So Mandy Rose basically is Anderson Silva in this division, basically. Like she basically be like every woman, basically put in front of her. Except probably Nikita Lyons. That's the only one that probably ain't beat Nikita Lyons. I think Roxanne Perez might get another crack at her. Next week, we get a 3-way title match. Our main event. Theory teased the Money in the Bank cash in for the NXT Championship. Braun Breaker versus JD Madonna and Ilya Dragunov. No. Good match. This is probably the best match. Like, you say your best match for last, this probably was the one you should have did. So, Dragunov wants to beat down on JD. JD fights up. They slug it out. Breaker goes into the corner. They slug it out some more. Breaker with a belly-to-belly suplex. Then hits Dragunov with a boot to the face. Dragunov is basically setting up a nice coast-to-coast move. Breaker is back up to slug it out with Dragunov. JD basically just applauds that they slugging it out, like playing just clapping, like this alternate plan. They clothesline each other, and then as Madonna goes back in top, slowly goes up top. But he delays enough that Breaker hits him with a Frankensteiner. So this was nice. So first of all, the way they did these moves, they did them like ass backward. Like Breaker's the bigger guy does the Frankensteiner, until Dragunov who hits a power bomb after he like mid air. So like you think you do that move, you think it'd be like backwards. It'd be the big guy doing the power bomb, little guy doing the Frankenstein. Steiner. They're all down. JD gets up first, hits a nice moonsault to the floor. He Dragunov power bomb Breaker for 2, but Madonna breaks that up with a 450 on Dragunov. Breaker with a suplex on both of them at the same time. Then hits the Gorilla Power Press Slam on Dragunov. JD steals the cover. Breaker ain't happy. Madonna goes onto the floor. Baker goes for the spear. But gets cut off. Top rope backsplash sets up the torpedo. But Madonna grabs the referee at 2. So Dragunov chases him around, which he winds up walking into a Spanish fly from JD. Then he tried to crush Dragunov's ankles on the step, but missed. Dragunov hits the torpedo off the step. Breaker spears the hell out of Dragunov. He retains the title at the 24-minute mark. So that is the end of NXT. That's the end of Halloween Havoc. So that's the end of your pay-per-view.
Alrighty. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw. 2 weeks away from Crown Jewel. Starts off with the Judgment Day in the ring spouting off a bunch of shit. We got your boy Finn Balor cosplaying as Tupac.
Oh, yeah, he still got the bandana on?
Yeah, in the back pocket, bro.
Oh, man. They really rocking that bandana.
Yeah, they out here talking about... They out here talking about...
rocking that bandana.
They out here talking about how much Dominic Mysterio's all man. Priest wants people to all rise for the greatest luchador of all time. Says he's there only for the people who believe in him, and said last week was proof that Eddie Guerrero wasn't of his generation. Cue the OC to come out. Says Dominic is stupid because he's more like James Ellsworth for this generation. Carl Anderson's ready. Carl Anderson's ready to face Finn Balor right now, so let's do this. They have a match. Everyone else is at ringside for this. Anderson kicks off to the outside. We take an early break back in. Anderson fighting out to the corner and drop kicking Balor to the knee. Kick to the leg stands Balor up to the apron. Anderson twists the leg around in the middle rope. Balor knocks him down, hits a forearm to the back of the neck to set up a chin lock. This match went about 17 minutes. I'm going to fast forward in a little bit. Balor back up with a sling braid into the drop kick in the corner, but Anderson catches him from the top. Superplex drops Balor, so Judgment Day offers the distraction, meaning the fight goes to the outside. Ripley post up Gallows and slams to the floor. He's 280 pounds, so nice job out of her on that slam.
Yeah.
Dominic distracts the referee. In the ring, Carl Anderson fireman carries Balor, but gets low blow by Ripley to give Balor the pin. Your winner, Judgment Day recap. The Miz attacking Dexter Lumis last week, and Johnny Gargano saying he knows what's going on. Gargano mocked Miz, saying he knows what's going on between the Miz and Dexter Lumis. He says there's nothing going on, and he's going to tell the truth. Here's Miz for a chat/explanation. Miz said Johnny Gargano was right, and he's been keeping it secret. But first, let's recap. We hear some of the things that Dexter Lumis has been doing to him. Before the Miz can say that this is all because of Tommaso Ciampa not being there. Miz chose to mentor Ciampa instead of Lumis, and now Lumis is out for revenge. And if anyone has seen Ciampa, send him back. Gargano comes out to Ciampa.
He's out with injury right now. He got to get
he just had surgery.
Yeah.
I had a story on that. I forgot to pull it up. I don't know if I talked about it. I don't think I did, but he had a story about that. Gargano said Ciampa isn't missing, but rather injured. So if Miz is a huge liar, if Miz was Lumis Gargano out of his life, all he has to do is tell the truth. Gargano loads up the whistle, and it's R-Truth interrupting. Gargano is very confused. Truth wants to talk about the truth, but Miz isn't going to talk down about the Truth's hometown. It's comfort food. He could talk about North Carolina mac and cheese for some reason. And then he said he's there to challenge him. The Miz can't handle the truth. Next you have R-Truth versus The Miz. The match is over in 2 minutes, 54 seconds.
Dang.
Winner The Miz. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Dexter Lumis, someone he thought was Dexter Lumis pops up at ringside and distracts The Miz. So he lets R-Truth to grab the roll-up for the win out of nowhere after 2 minutes, 54 seconds. So R-Truth is beating The Miz now, along with Gritty. The real Gritty, not Mike Gesicki. It was Gargano dressed as Lumis in the crowd. By the way, they got the distraction. We get a sit-down interview with Candice LeRae, which is cut off by Bayley and Damage Control. Bayley talked about the people that they put on the shelf, but then Candice is all Bayley's missing. Is the Raw Women's title. Then they beat her down quickly. I like how they did it because she pushed over the camera.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see the beat down. You know what I'm saying? They kind of play it off a little bit. Elias runs into Matt Riddle backstage. He wants to do a wed. Elias isn't on it and tells him to stop, interrupting him. Cue the Alpha Academy to come out and shoot them. Have great new T-shirts that say "Shoes" with 16 O's on the front, like shoes, please, like that. Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali was next. Mustafa Ali is going after that U.S. title that Seth Rollins holds after he attacked him after a match that Seth Rollins had last week. Speaking of which, Seth Rollins comes out on commentary. He looks like a background dancer or extra from the Color Me Bad, I Want to Sex You Up video. Literally, he has on a neon yellow coat. The coat comes down to the bottom of his ribcage. And it's wide open, and he ain't got no shirt on. I swear, he looks like the backup dancer for that shit. Anyway, so he comes out on commentary. Starting the match, Theory knocks him into the corner to start. Ali's back up with a spinning head scissors for another corner. Elbow to the face, sets up another elbow into the apron, and Ali is in trouble. We take a back from break with Ali sending him to the outside, even Theory to pick up his phone, take some selfies. After that, Ali hits a drop kick to the floor, setting up top rope. Flip dive, Ali strikes away back inside and hits a rolling neck breaker for 2, a tornado DDT. Gets 2, but Theory pulls into a brain buster onto his knee for 2 more. Ali takes him down, goes up, but Rollins distracts and sets up A-Town down to give Theory the victory after 12 minutes. I think this match went way longer than it should have. Post-match, Rollins beats up Ali for a bit before walking away, where Ali manages to jump him near the stage. Then a brawl is on with Rollins being sent into the video screen. Miz comes up to Gargano backstage and wants to know what's up with that. Miz leaves, and it's JBL and Baron Corbin taking his place. JBL wants Gargano to stop messing with the Miz and shows him some respect. Gargano takes JBL's hand and calls him MC Hammer Pants. And he isn't sure what Corbin is calling himself now either, but seems to get himself set up for a match for later. There's video of Bianca Belair versus Bayley in their ladder match. Almost comes out. I believe he faced 4 guys. Something like that.
4 guys?
4 victims, basically. And I like how he basically, before he beat them all down, they were trying to MVP was trying to get them to compare his fist to their fist and the size of their head and let them know you about to get wrecked by a giant, basically. He won the match against 4 dudes in 1 minute and 42 seconds. Next match, Elias versus Chad Gable. This match started off, tried to get a backslide. Elias tried to get backslide and took a suplex for a trouble for 2. Otis low bridges Elias to the floor. We get a break. They come back with Gable hitting a swanton dive. Elias fights up with elbows to the face. A splash in the corner, but Gable puts him in the ankle lock Gable puts him in the razor's edge with a flip forward into the DDT for 2. Gable goes up top and gets kneed out of the air for rather a near fall. Elias swings suplex, finishes at 8 minutes and 32 seconds. Post-match, the beatdown is on, but Riddle runs out to make the save. Looks like the OC/Judgment Day have a new sequence. The OC's in the training room, and AJ says they have a real problem. Not to worry, though. Luke Gallows says he has a way with women that can solve this. Styles says he's terrible with women. But the way you said it, like you're going to knock her off and make her fall back, because he was busting her now. Post-break, Gallows comes back with an ice pack on his head, suffering from a low blow. And he says, I guess Rhea Ripley, more planning is needed. Gargano versus Baron Corbin. The match to get Baron Corbin over. There was a decent part of this match where I think this is where they kind of wrote in that Gargano lost. He got too full of himself and went to the crowd and took somebody's like cowboy hat or whatever.
Oh, he's on the announce tape. No, okay. This was funny.
I think he took
JBL cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He put it on there. He started doing like the little dance. He did the little what? It was so funny. Then he took the hat again. When JBL like no, that shit was so funny. It was funny. I liked it. I like funny Johnny Gargano.
But that led to his demise.
Yeah, it did.
He tried to go for a tornado DDT off the announce table after all this happened. Corbin again, but he got broke up by JBL, so he stopped at one final beat. And today finishes off Gargano after 14 minutes and 9 seconds. Post match, Miz comes up to Johnny with a goodwill card for Candice. Miz is willing to tell the truth next week, but Gargano will do it if Miz doesn't, and Miz doesn't even sign the card. You get a long video of Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, setting up the match for Crown Jewel. Then we get Bayley versus Bianca Belair in your main event. This was an interesting match. This is basically just setting up, furthering the feud between the two to set up the next match between Belair and Bayley. And I like how they've set it up where Damage Control is taking out everybody around her that'll be faces to help. So they've taken out Alexa Bliss, they've taken out Asuka, they've now tonight taken out Candice LeRae, and that was basically the storyline plot they're saying, like, we're picking off everybody around you, you ain't got no help. Basically, that came down to that.
They started off by taking off Becky Lynch.
Right, Becky's another one, and then we were reminded of that because she said it. Bayley said that, like, we took out Becky Lynch too, like, don't forget that. So she did state that, so don't let me forget that, my bad.
Everybody out,
So basically, they had their basic match they were having a couple weeks ago, minus ladders, you know what I'm saying? So I'll get to the good shit here. Because I saw some stuff here that made me very interested. Eventually, we got some interactions and distractions from Damage Control. One by Sky to let Bayley hit a super Bayley to belly for a close 2 count. Then another power bomb that against the post that sets up the first face drop into the apron. Sky gets another distraction. Sky kicks Belair in the face. Back in, and the referee ejects both of them. Soon as he ejects both of them, Nikki Ash dives off the top onto Damage Control and the referee. Back in, Rose Plan is countered into the KOD, but no counters. The referee is still down. Nikki Cross comes back. Nikki Cross, not Nikki Ash anymore, runs back in and hits the DDT's Belair so that Bayley can steal the pin at 23 minutes and 10 seconds. And it seems like we get the old Nikki Cross that I've been craving since she left NXT, the deranged Nikki Cross. So that was awesome. Post match, she runs back into the ring and beats down Bayley as well as she's beating down Bayley as well as Belair. So I'm glad that they brought that back, that change for her. Good episode of Raw. We're gonna move on to NXT in 1 second. Leno. So this week's, let's jump over to NXT 1 second. I'm gonna pull that up for y'all. Let's get down. Speaking of another one real quick, story that someone was talking about. Yeah, Matt Ryder looks like he said, that Matt Ryder shit is dead. Long live Matt Cardona. He says, I'm here to stay. So good for him. He's going to do what he's been doing to help put himself get over since he left that company. He's been doing his own thing. He's been on fire with some of the work he's been doing over in GCW and other places and such. So that's good for him. Almost there at the NXT weekly story here. On my TV reports. There we go. Sorry about the delay there again, folks. There we go. Got it. Alright, so on NXT from this past October 25th. First off, Halloween Havoc. What they come off with a recap of, we get the women's tag title match. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance taking on Zoe Stark and Nikita Lyons. Starks and Lyons are challenging. Carter and Lyons start with later bursting out some splits. Stark comes in for a chin lock, which doesn't work very well, allowing Carter to kick her anyway. Chance slingshots in with the flipping splash for 2. But a head scissor from Stark gets her out of trouble. Lyons comes in and works on Chance's back until a roll to the corner allows the tag to Carter. Everything breaks down and Chance is set to the floor where they're fine enough to hit stereo slams as we take a break. Back from break with Chance slingshotting into a dropkick to Lyons, who swings her into a rock bottom for 2. Carter comes in with a forearm to the back of the head and a running dropkick in the corner. Chance gets backdrop into the moonsault on Lyons with Stark having to make the save. It's back to Stark to clean up house, but Chance pulls her into a roller for 2. Everything breaks down. Stark reverses the big boot into a roller on Chance for the pin, and the title's at 12 minutes 27 seconds. It's pretty decent. But hang on, a Chance was not legal, so not so fast. The bell rings again, so they slug it out. Carter diving on the Lions with a splash, a super Spanish fly. Plan start for 2, but she's back up with the released German suplex to drop Carter. High tag brings in Lion clean house, including spinning kick into split splash for 2 on Carter, with Chance making the save. Chance gets start to go to the floor, and Carter kicks Lions in the head for a few times. Chance is back up with a 450 neck record combination to retain the title of 2 minutes and 20 seconds after the restart. So I needed 2 parts to this one because a little bit of illegalness, a little silliness, but it ended up being a decent match though. Thought I'd read it NXT for you want to jump back in. I just got through the tag title match, the first one with Nikita Lyons.
Hey, stay in your lane.
Hey man, I mean we couldn't wait here until you came back. We
Could
had
with
to keep going.
AEW.
Nah,
No, I'm messing with you. Nah.
keep it in the order. Go ahead.
Okay, let's see. I gotta bring my phone back up. All right. You said you did the
Opening match. The tag match.
all right. You did the whole match or?
Yeah, I did the whole match. I'm on the post match part where they got the video of Braun Breaker.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. So T-Bar Dominic Dijakovic supposed was coming. Is T-Bar burns a mask and said that the second coming isn't about retribution. Taking an old shot at his old booking. Wesley is here, your new North American champ. Thanks to fans for believing in him, because he said he never thought he'd be able to win anything, especially on his own. Here comes Grayson Waller. Said he wants a title shot, but Lee reminds him that he lost at Halloween Havoc. Next, R-Truth comes out, wearing a mask.
Oh,
He said, and welcomes to Halloween Havoc. Waller points out that was 3 days ago. Truth think Waller is British. Lee said it was 3 days ago, and gets congratulated on his title win. Oh, and how did Waller do at Halloween Havoc? It turned to a discussion of drug use, and Waller agrees to face Truth. Then Waller gets beaten up and sent outside. Next, Malik Blade, Idris and North Bay are fired up as they get ready for their tag team championship shot. Apollo Crews is done with Grayson Waller. Now he wants a shot at NXT champion. Next we get Shotzi versus Last Legend. Quincy Elliott is here with Shotzi. Legend knocks her to the floor to start. Elliott offers a distraction. Legend drives her into the corner, but Shotzi grabs Never Wake Up for the pin at 3:37. Next we get Brutus Creed versus Damon Kemp. It's a 5-minute match, and the result of Julius Creed beating Kemp on Sunday Kemp pops up on the screen and said that he isn't medically clear, so they'll do it later. Saga and Veer pop up, jump to Creed. Ivy now come down and glare at them and then checks on the Creed. No match. Toxic Attraction calls each other and brags about how awesome they are. Next week will be Mandy Rose. Next week will be Mandy Rose's 1 year anniversary as NXT champion, women's champion. Then we get to our tag team title match. Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, boy.
Versus Malik Blade. Enters the North Egg. Pretty Deadly is defending. They are in trouble early. Top row elbow gets a 2 on Wilson. Then they hit a running boot to the face clothesline combination. This takes Wilson outside, foul that with a knee drop. Wilson tags Prince, who gets punched out the air. Everything breaks down. Chants are sent outside. Come back inside. Blade gets the hot tag, taking out everybody, including this nice flip dive over the post onto the floor. That's where everybody doing this run to the hop over the ring post and take somebody out. Everybody's officially doing a ricochet. He just a trade. Yeah. If you got leg enough, though, you can do it, though. High cross body on 2. On Prince, everything breaks down. The North Face knees Wilson down. Prince pulls the North Face to the floor. Spilled milk gets broken up. And a roll-up gets a very close 3 on Prince. But they kick out. Spilled milk retains the titles at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So, put in a fight. They did the near fall to make it sound like going to happen, but unfortunately at the end, we all knew they wasn't going to win that match, though. JD. Madonna says he's a necessary evil and he will hurt people. Nikita Lyon and Zoe Stark argue about who to blame for the loss. But they have a rematch. Next. Schism. Joe Gacy, the spam guy, and they killed grizzled young veterans. So here's their newest member. They have speeches.
They killed the grizzled young veteran.
I'm talking about with the new gimmick they did.
Oh, okay.
After speeches from the new ass member, that person finally get revealed. It's Ava Raine. We all know Ava Raine, that is The Rock's daughter. She said that this family make her whole, and she said, I gotta pull her promo up. It was a nice promo. I think she said something like this family made me whole. I'm gonna be something outside my family that everybody pertains me to be. I mean, because you are The Rock's daughter, so. I mean, and she been, before she was out with, I think she unfortunately she tore her ACL too, I think, because she was doing NXT live show before she tore her ACL. So, we'll see that. I mean, I guess, dang, I feel, if I'm The Rock, I'm mad. Don't put my daughter with this shit, man. Don't put me with this fat-ass, fake-ass Seth Rollins. Like, anyway, Sol Roku thinks she's ready for Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell does not think Sol Roku is ready for her. We get a phone call. We hear a rhyming message about getting rid of sins and tearing NXT apart from scrimps. So, we don't know what that's going to be. Okay, so, what if the person gets squashed, but there's somebody that is known, though? Because Indy Hartwell gets squashed by Sol Rico in like a minute 20. For Indy Hartwell.
Why did they make her fall off like that?
They should have go back. Post-match, Elektra Lopez returns, just beats them both down. So she's back. We go back to Chase U. Bodie Hayward is nowhere to be seen. Duke Hudson sucks up, give Andre Chase an apple, and takes Hayward's seat. Don't take notes. Chase yelled at him, so Hudson steals someone's pen and writes some notes on Survivor Series. Roxanne Perez says she ain't sorry for what she did for Cora Jade. Malik Blade and Eldridge and North are upset by their loss. And then Odyssey Jones pulls up in a truck with like 10 women in it, and they hop in the truck with him and they drive off. I did have one more news story about I'll replay to the NXT because it's gonna do an Austin Theory. Next, our main event. JD Madon versus Igor Dragunov. Alright, now this here about to get a little...
Coming off of Halloween Havoc main event.
Yeah. Now this match right here. Now, so Dragunov starts off fast, slams him up top, get chopped into the corner. Then Dragunov gets knocked off to the apron into the announcer's table. Metis comes out and check on Dragunov because he went real chest first into the announce table.
Mm-hmm. Sternum first.
Yeah, thank you. So Dragunov in trouble, but he's actually beating him in the slug out because them UK guys are tough as shit. Madon get knees up to block the top row splash. Dragunov catches him on top. Top row superplex again. Fist drop onto the mat. Dragunov collapses though. Then Madonna grabs him in the vice crossface. So Dragunov passing out.
JD Madonna won?
Yeah, passing out. Dragunov passed out. He basically put him in a submission, and Dragunov is basically passes out. With blood coming down his mouth and everything like that from the sternum shot. So yeah. And on top of that, he holds the mood in even more as Dragunov is basically just lying motionless, and he has to get stretchered off at the end of NXT. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah.
Over the Dynamite where some crazy shit happened over here. First of all, our fuck Tony Schiavone moment of the night is gonna be a running narrative.
Oh wow.
A little bit. I had to pick and choose this one to get a good one in. The night starts off with Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta taking on Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia. This stemming from Jericho cheating to win their match in the rematch against Claudio Castagnoli. Claudio and Jericho start. Jericho flips off the crowd. Uppercut from Claudio, then again and again in the corner. Bunch of uppercuts over and over. Short clothesline to Jericho. Tag Garcia, he eats a backbreaker. Side headlock, tags in Yuta, comes in. They get a double big boot on Garcia. Hard slap from Yuta again and again in the back chop. Whip to the ropes. Yuta hops high for a drop kick. Yuta works the fingers, locks on the arm bar. Yuta into the corner. Right hands in the corner. Chop to the chest. Another chop. Another. Elbows to the head. Ref holds Yuta back. Garcia hits Yuta with the giant headbutt. A chop to Yuta, a right hand, and another chop to Yuta. Whip into the corner hard where Yuta hops up with the body slam from Yuta and a senton. Gets a cover on, he gets a 2 count. Yuta locks the arms, looks to drop the elbows. Jericho's in, Claudio's in, drops Jericho to his knee. Yuta and Claudio get some elbow blows. Menard puts Jericho out of the ring. Parker pulls Garcia out. Claudio and Yuta leave the ring. They're working on the outside for a while. They get back in, hitting the assisted uppercut. Claudio gets only a 2 count on that. This was a long match, so I had a couple breaks there. They come back. Garcia with the sleeper locked on the Claudio, but Claudio's too buff for that stuff. He lifts Garcia up with ease. It changes the grip and hits a delayed suplex. Claudio tries for a suplex, but Jericho's here and shoves him off. He goes for a cold breaker. Claudio catches him. Jericho rolls through. Claudio spins Jericho away. Kick from Jericho. Hits the rope. Shoots up uppercut from Claudio. Claudio too slow for the pin. He rolls over, reaches for the tag instead, tagging in Yuta to the top. Huge splash. 2 count. Garcia in. Yuta stops the pin and the tag, sends Garcia to the outside, grabs Jericho, torture rack into a spin and a suplex. Only gets a 2 count. Tagging Claudio. He's hits the spin Yuta into a tornado DDT. Only for a 2 count. Claudio tries for the neutralizer. Jericho flips him over. Claudio lands on his feet with Jericho with the code breaker. 2 count once again. Yuta with the elbow. Garcia back in the ring sends Yuta to the outside. He hits the rope, dives over, and lands on Parker Menard and Garcia. Eventually, we get down to the end of this one. Jake Hager on the apron. Got a big boot from Claudio. He hops onto the apron and flips the senton on the Hager. Clothesline Menard and stops to Garcia. And uppercut to Parker. Claudio heads to the top, hops off the top rope, hits the uppercut to Jericho to neutralizer, gets the 3 count. Match went 11 minutes, 42 seconds. Nice opener. Seems longer as I was explaining it than I felt like I was watching it. Backstage, Dan Bryan's getting ready to go out for his next match soon. As he's coming back through the curtain, he runs past Judah and Claudio, and they had words. Bryan saying he's frustrated that he lost to Jericho, and that Garcia turned his back on him, and that Judah talked back to him last week. He knows people hate Sammy. He doesn't. He doesn't like the smug face and the stupid blog, but all this frustration will be taken out on Sammy. Yuta comes in telling he's glad that Dan Bryan is finally angry and mad. Let's see what he and Claudio just did. They beat a Jericho and someone that Claudio has. You see what Claudio did. They beat up Jericho. Claudio comes in. Yuta tells Bryan that he's not a kid anymore. He's a grown ass man. Claudio tries to stop him, but Bryan slaps Yuta and tells him not to disrespect him. Claudio says he's a good guy and it's Yuta's birthday to discuss it later like adults. Next, it shows this interesting video that comes up. The Young Bucks and Omega are showing memories of their time in AEW, and they keep disappearing out of all these photos like the snap by Thanos, even the ones where they're holding titles. So I don't know if they're ominously meaning they're leaving, but from the stories we told earlier in the news, obviously they're probably not, and they'll be coming back soon. Backstage, JS, they're mad because they just lost in the ring and they can't believe it. Matt Menard starts talking. He starts talking like he's on coke really fast, like his nipples hard. He's pissed off at what's going on around there. He ends up challenging Moxley to a match, I believe, at some point in time later that we get on the opener on Rampage later this week, so we'll talk about that when we get there. Swerve and Ardlow and FTR make their entrance. Out comes the Acclaim, each with a chair to sit down and watch this match. Next up, no one contenders match for the tag titles, FTR versus Swerve and Ardlow. The Guns are also outside in the front row. One has on a swimming cap trying to act like Dax, like he's bald. And then we're in FTR gear. They look fucking ridiculous. Cass and Swerve start. The lockup rolls the guys to the corner. Cass tosses Swerve out of it. Both men are up. Swerve kick to the back of the leg with Cass. With a side headlock, gets Swerve into the corner for some knees. Cass hips Swerve into the corner, then he hops up to the top, flips over, lands on his feet, rolls through, and pushes his leg into the scissors, sends Cass into the corner. Cass is up working the arm, flips Swerve into a fireman's carry. Dax tags in, arm drag, another leg drop for a 2 count. Dax works the left arm, Swerve punches to the gut, tags and Lee, do not look prepared. Dax tries the arm drag, can't get it. Lee sends him to the ropes. Dax to the right, tag into Cass, whip to Lee. Dax tries to lift Lee for a big rig, but Lee catches Dax by the head, both men with right hands. Then comes Swerve. They punch Swerve out of the ring. FTR hits the ropes. Leapfrog from Lee as he hops down and back up, cross body to FTR. Back, Swerve doing some leg work. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in this one because I know we still got some other shows we got to do and finish up. But so basically, you know how they've been telling the narrative that Swerve cheated in his match against Billy Gunn. Keith Lee ain't like that. We get down to the end of this one, and it's a pretty good match going back and forth where they're basically, FTR trying to get their double team moves off on Keith Lee, but Keith Lee too big for that for the most part, and Swerve trying to interfere while he's in the ring either from the outside or taking care of one of them while they're on the outside, one of the members of FTR. At one point in time, I believe it was Dax, was up against the ropes, and the ref was distracted by Cash at the time, and Swerve on the outside, pops out of nowhere, boom, low blows him. Ref doesn't see it. Keith Lee ends up getting the pin from there at the end of the match, and I don't even think Keith Lee saw it at first, unless they showed they showed the replay right after, and then he would have seen it from there. You know what I'm saying? They ended up they did get a big rig off eventually on Keith Lee, but it didn't matter when he got a 2 count. He lifts him up from a power slam from there. And Keith Lee gets the pin. So we're going to get Swerve and Ardlow versus the Acclaim for the trilogy match at Full Gear. FTR is still holding off. I'm kind of shocked that they did it that way. Not that I like that they used the distraction and the cheating stuff, but it was a very good match, unlike where it led to. We just had so much going on. 15 minutes in this match. We still got a review. I wanted to just speed up a little bit on that. Backstage, Renee is interviewing Soraya, formerly known as Paige. She's happy to see each other, and here comes in Britt. I love that the first thing she says, as soon as Britt comes to the screen, like, oh, here we go. Don't start, bitch. I'm not in the mood. The first words out of her mouth to her. They start to bicker with each other. Renee shuts them both up, saying, if you want to talk, then do it properly. Britt says, great, and then they leave. Back in the rant, Renee's here again, and she introduces MJF. MJF comes out, and Renee brings up Moxley and brings up his title shot tonight. And wonders how Jeff's possibly feeling about facing Moxley. And Jeff gets on the mic. This is hilarious. So MJF gets on the mic and he starts doing this impression of John Moxley. And it's funny because like Renee is married to him, so she had to keep a straight face for this shit. And he's walking around him just, yeah. He said, you know what? I'm gonna make you boil my piss. So shit like that, trying to mock Moxley is what he said and shit, cutting on his promo. Anyway, so he said, now he's talking about drinking blood and gargling piss. With all due respect, he thinks Moxley's the only one who does that. Mine, 3 letters. He said he thinks of Moxley, another thing comes to mind. 3 letters. What do you think they are, Clint?
What?
I say when he thinks of Moxley, only 3 letters come to mind. What do you think it is?
Well, who think of Moxley?
MJF.
What?
Mid.
Oh, God.
Renee tries to educate MJF on the phrase, saying with all due respect, he tells her to shut her mouth. Last week he said he was going to earn it. He meant every word. He said he was going to do it clean, meaning that he was going to tell his boys not to jump him. And he also means that he had to tell William Regal, the elderly rat, to keep his hands off him with those brass knucks, basically. So as he starts to say this, all of a sudden, here comes out is Stokely Hathaway. Stokely Hathaway comes out, and basically MJF's promo is basically summed up as saying that he wants to prove that he's a generous talent. He doesn't need the help, so he wants his boys to keep their hands off of him until we get to that match at Full Gear, and if they don't, they're going to be fired. Out comes Stokely Hathaway saying he gets it, like he's grinning on his face, and he cuts off his promo again, which pisses MJ off again. And he dogs him, and he says, I'm going to cut you some slack, but if you ever do this again, I'm going to make sure you're fired. Matter of fact, he yells at him in his face that he is fired right there on the spot for cutting him off again, and then yells at him and then tells him to walk off. So basically, that was the end of that promo and all that stuff. We'll get to more of that later. The Kingdom, who is Matt Taven, Maria Kanellis, and Maria Kanellis' husband, Mike.
Yeah. Mike.
Sorry to reference you as Maria Kanellis' husband. You don't deserve more respect. Because honestly, in the wrestling game, I think her name's bigger than yours, bro. So.
Okay, that's the same thing. Yeah, we already seen what happened with Cedric Alexander, but neither one of them on there now, though.
Yeah, exactly. Neither one of them is on TV right now, so it don't matter, huh? Anywho, so, dang, why does this thing keep popping? I can't just pop up for this Weird Al movie that's about to come up, bro. It's killing me.
Weird Al.
All right, sorry about that. Anyway, so the Kingdom come out, cut a promo on Wardlow. They said that's a really stupid name for a tag team. Either way, they won the TNT title shot. Wardlow tells them that it's all good because when they get in the ring, Wardlow, nothing matters. He said this Friday you're going to meet the inevitable. And Matt Taven will become another casualty. Wardlow wins. Next match, Sammy Guevara versus Brian Danielson. I couldn't say that the whole show. Sammy's out the gate. This is where I think he's coming around the corner. See, he's flying in through that big picture window right there that y'all don't see over there, folks. Coming around back in Clinto's face with a fuck Tony Schiavone!
Skip on. Tony. What Tony do this week?
So this is a running narrative on this week's show. He has multiple plots. So the first is when the first happened earlier in the show when the Pinnacle was having a promo. And Tony Schiavone got caught up in his words, and he was like, here for a second with the, not the Pentagon, sorry, with the JAS Society, Jericho Appreciation Society. I'm here with the Jericho. He's like, get the words right, Schiavone! And he started yelling at him. He's like, I'm sorry. So that was the first. So then the second one is during this match, Sammy Guevara's coming out there because I'm with Ty Mello. So they're making out as they always do. And Shivani's like, so Taz, would you ever make out with your wife in public like this? And Taz is like, that's none of your business. You know, I mean, I'm with my wife and everything, but he kind of tried to play it off like you're going to talk about it or whatever. The second one comes later in the show. I'll talk about it now, though. So in the main event with Moxley, this is a small one, with Moxley and Penta, he said, Taz is all talking like, he's like, yeah, you know, that was a ploy right there. You just need to cover up. Yeah, you understand that, Shivani? That is your real name, whatever. Shivani's like, oh yeah, Taz. That's the way he said it. It was funny. So that's my Tony moments for the week. Just showing small ones. This is a very good match between the two. I'm going to jump into the middle of the match where we have Sammy's in the torture rack. Has a torture rack, tries to go for GTAs, but Brian escapes. Flips him up, flips up. Sammy lands on his feet. Brian hits the ropes, flips back over him. Sammy tries to go for a drop kick. Brian grabs his legs, locks him up. Or Brian Danielson, I keep saying that. Grabs his legs, locks him up. He pulls him into Sammy's arm. Looking for the surfboard. He gets it. Romeo Special locked into Sammy. He pulls back on Sammy's head to hit some hard forearms to the side of his face. Driving some knees to the side of his head. Hard right hand from Brian. Brian knees to the back of the shoulder, grabs the wrist and works the fingers over, and he gets a stomp on the back of the elbow. Brian mounts for some palm strikes. Then he gets a hard punch as the ref counts up, tells Brian to open up his fist at 4. Brian stands over prone Sammy. Brian screams and goes back to Sammy looking for a kick in the head. Sammy rolls out to the outside. Brian hits the ropes, dives back through the ropes with the drop kick. Brian on the apron, he jumps off and he sees Sammy there with the knee. Sammy springboard, moonsaults on to Brian. That looked really good. Back into the ring. Brian calls he back into the ring. Sammy is in need of Brian, calls Brian a stupid dragon and kicks Brian in the chest, kicks him again and again. Brian's eating these kicks up like a champ. He's starting to hulk up from it. Till he gets to the last kick, grabs the boot and then stands up, slaps the shit out of Sammy's face. Brian corners Sammy, hits him with the loudest chop known to man, then kicks and chops and kicks and kicks and kicks over and over. Whips Sammy, gets reversed, then flips over, hits the ropes, clothesline to Sammy. Brian back with the uppercut, a whip kick to Sammy. Brian sends him over the top rope. Brian hits the top rope and dives to the outside to Sammy. We're going to skip to the end of this one because there's a lot of moves to go into this. Anyway, we get to the end of the match. Brian's in the corner. He goes for the running knee. Sammy flips to the outside. Brian stomps Sammy out. He locks in a triangle and drives into the elbows to the head. Sammy goes limp. At that point, the ref stops the match like he passed out. Your winner, Dan Bryan, said this match is almost 15 minutes. That's why I just didn't want to go move.
Hell, everybody doing these finishes where you pass out to get win.
Not to mention, this is one of them dynamites that was really good because there's only about 4 matches, but each match went about had at least 10 to 15 minutes to them. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one right there. That's like that Raw last week. They had like 6, 7 matches.
This is actually 5. It was 5 matches on here, but each match got like 10 minutes or so. Women's match back in the 9 o'clock spot.
Of course it is.
Before we get there, Ray Phoenix is backstage with Alex Abrahante as they're talking about titles. Ray Phoenix said he wants a shot at the All-Atlantic Championship. Before he can finish talking, Christian Cage cuts him off and said his boy Luchasaurus deserves a shot because they pinned Jungle Boy and Jungle Boy beat Ray Phoenix, and since Ray Phoenix is taking his title shot, he feels like his boy deserves a title shot. Orange Cassidy's walked in and says, "You talking about this?"
Orange Cassidy.
Let's do it.
I love Orange Cassidy.
So
he just don't care. He just don't care.
Next Dynamite, and I'm guessing it's either going to open the show or be the main event. Either that's going to open the show or be the main event. It's going to be a triple threat match for the All Atlantic Championship. Luchasaurus, Orange Cassidy, and Ray Phoenix. That's a big good match.
That's gonna be a good match.
Match number 4, Rio taking on Jamie Hayter.
9 o'clock slot, you said?
Yep. This match went 10 minutes. See, that's what I said. They gave everybody time tonight. Skip ahead a little bit in this match also, instead of having to go move here. You got distraction from Britt Baker and Rebel who are on the outside. Britt grabs the Brutal Rhea from Rio, not for the first, but the second time in the match. The ref doesn't see it this time either. Rio charges the corner. Jamie catches her, tries to go for a sunset flip. Jamie shoots her up. Rio flies over her head and grabs the waist. Cold red from Rio. Goes to the top rope, flies down for the stomp, rolls through, runs to get caught into a hard backbreaker. Ripcord, real half hooks, and hits a dragon sleeper for 2. Big kick to Jamie Hayter. Jamie locks in her hips, tries to go for another ripcord, but this time she gets it. Huge lariat for the 3 count. Your winner, Jamie Hayter. What made this match fun to watch is because of the size difference, because Rio looks like, though I know she's not, she has the frame of an emaciated crackhead.
Yeah.
And Jamie Hayter looks plenty healthy, and that's not making a sexualized comment. I'm just saying she weighs about 140. And if the other person you're facing looks like they weigh about 80 pounds soaking wet, that's not going to be a good night for you. So, and I'm not hating on Rio. I'm just saying, man. That's her body frame. Toni Storm comes out. She holds the title high with a smile to Britt, Jamie, and Rebel. Renee's backstage with Eddie Kingston. Here to talk about Rampage and worried about his friend's behavior, talking about Moxley. He says he's great and wonderful. See, he's smiling, having a blast. It's great. Now let's talk about John. Let's stop worrying about Eddie for a second, please. He says it'd be hard tonight because Penta is his dude, but he thinks John's going to take it, and that's it. Everyone else, leave him alone. Video package of Darby Allin explaining where Sting's been. Apparently, Darby told Sting he was not happy, and he just wants to crawl away. And Sting said he couldn't do that. Darby wants to prove himself by himself. Last week, Jay told him that he had a friend who knew Darby's weakness, but Darby told him his weakness too. It's himself. He wants Jay's friend to come to Dynamite next week and tell him in his face what his biggest weakness is. Talking about Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal's live saying that they have a match next week and Darby's in for a rude awakening. Then my man Sade Dutt, yeah, baba. He comes in and says, Darby next week, you're sure as hell gonna get it. Then we have our main event, AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, Pentagon. Penta Zero Mado versus John Moxley. This was a great match because it was great to see Moxley fight a different style. With Penta heavy on the lucha style, flipping over the ropes and the arm snap thing and Zero Mado and the glove and all that other shit. It was good to see Moxley have to fight off another style to get the victory, though at the end of the day, it did become still a Moxley match, but with great ending and great spots in between the match. I'm going to roll down towards the great spots that happened towards the end of the match. So, as we get down to the end of the match, we got a chop to John's chest. John gives a lock to his head and drops some elbows to the back of the head. Penta fights off to the top. Gives a kick to the back of his leg. With John hanging off the second rope, you get a stomp from Penta. He locks up Zero Mado, goes for the fear factor, only gets a 2 count. But on that 2 count of the fear factor, literally it was 9 when he stopped. I thought it was a 3 count. I had to rewind it. Next, Penta gets up. He hits the rope and springs back. He gets kicked, gets hit with a paradigm shift that rolls up, gets set to a Death Rider for the 3 count. Gave him the double joint, so you ain't getting your ass up from this one. Your winner, John Moxley, to retain. Also, during this show, I don't have mentioned here in the notes, I wanted to say is that, oh no, I'm sorry, that happens on Rampage. I wrote for it. No, never mind. So anyway, after the match, the Firm comes out, and you saw their interaction I talked about with MJF earlier in the show. They come out, they instantly jump John Moxley after the match. Even though he told him, and even though he fired him and said don't touch him, they came out and did it anyway. Stokely Hathaway comes out, he's sitting in the corner, basically just refereeing over the proceedings going down. They're getting big boosts to his face from W. Morrissey. Your boy Tiger Style Lee Moriarty was jumping him with his green hair. He looks like the wrestling version of, what's my man's name? Frank Ocean. He looks like the wrestling version of Frank Ocean with that green hair. Then, you also had the Guns there jumping him and everything. Ethan Page gave him the razor's edge in the ring. Dogged him right quick. And he just dogged him right quick. Rolled him to the outside. As he's doing this, MJF comes out and he's conflicted. Like I told y'all not to touch him kind of thing. And he acted like he was going to walk off but then decided to run to the ring like he was going to help Moxley. Now, he didn't exactly help Moxley because he didn't help them jump him at the same time. He just pulled them off. Like, what are you doing? I told you not to do that, whatever. And then they start whooping his ass. So then they jump MJF. He catches a razor's edge. Then they continue to beat his ass. Send him to the outside. When they send him to the outside, Morrissey chokeslams him through the ring bell table. So they left him prone and lame.
They used the ring bell table more than they used the actual announce table. Oh, no, announce table always be up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So took him out. That's out the way. So that ended Dynamite for the night. So we'll see where that goes, and we have more extension of this later on when we talk about Rampage.
Alrighty, SmackDown, right?
Also, your boy's coming back.
Oh,
What's Mike Tyson? He'll be on Rampage next week.
oh, that's what's up. Iron Mike.
Rampage in New Jersey. So that's also why I'm thinking I think Full Gear is next weekend.
Gonna come back and knock somebody out.
We'll see. Hopefully he won't be falling asleep at ringside.
Oh man. All right, SmackDown. 8 days away from Crown Jewel. All right, so we start with the Brawling Brutes versus Solo Sikoa and Sami Zayn. Sami asked Jay to keep things calm. He said Reign isn't here yet, and the team need to be successful. Bush and Zayn start things off. Clothesline, Holland comes in, help Bush with some forearms to the chest, but they don't look good because Holland is not really, to me, that good of a wrestler anyway. Jimmy gets a cheap shot. Cheap shot on Butch, but he sends Sammy to the outside, running knee off the apron, drops Zayn. Solo runs Butch over. We go to break. Samoan drop on Holland for 2, but he get caught with the the trapping headbutt a la Al Snow. Butch tried the cloverleaf, which is okay, which something I really seen him try on Sammy, but has the glare at Jimmy. Insecurity rocks Sammy, leaving him to argue with Jay on the floor. Solo comes over, reminds him of Matt. Holland takes all 3 of them out. Holland small package Sammy for the win. Post-match argument ensues between them with Jay basically getting in his face. I mean, Jimmy basically getting in his brother's face. Basically they all scouting Jay for what they did. Then the match comes, and here comes Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn right now, the face he make is funny. So he comes in and asks the crowd to acknowledge him, and the crowd acknowledges him. Yeah. Before that, I said they was arguing. Jimmy aggressively turns Jay around. So Reigns comes out. He asked the St. Louis crowd to acknowledge him. He said, we're going to change things around. He said, the fans acknowledge me. We're going to acknowledge the elephant in the room. He said, since Sammy and Jay want to act like kids, I'm going to treat them like kids. He said, I believe in handling business in the ring, but like Sammy and Jay can't do that. He said, I want this problem to be fixed, so put it on the table tonight. Sammy takes the mic to admit that there's been a communication of late, and he flagged especially with Jay. He said, I don't understand what's going on. Sammy's like, we was always cool, but you can't stand me until I start hanging with the bloodline. He's like, Jimmy seems fine. Solo seems fine. He said, I don't know what I did to you, but if I did anything, I apologize. He said, can we bury the hatchet once for all? Offers for a handshake. Here's the funny part that was funny. Jay was like, you got 2 seconds to get your hand away. He like, I don't like you. I don't like your hair. I don't like your face. I don't like your shirt. I don't like you being around my family every week. How you part of the bloodline? You ain't even blood. You never will be. You don't belong. No one in the group likes Sammy. I'm just the only real one that say it out loud. He said, you a fake ass oos. He said, the difference between me and you is that I will shed blood for my family because they my blood. And then he asked Sammy.
He said, you a fake ass oos.
And then it's funny. Sammy was like, why are you yelling at me? I'm just doing tribal chief. And Jay was like, I don't give a damn what the tribal chief say. When Roman looks pissed, Roman turns around and looks at him like, this thing I love about Roman. He don't say nothing. His facial expression, he just be looking like he just turn around all slow. He looking at Jay, like what? Like, and it's funny. This is the best part. Sam was like, okay. He's like, look. He's like, what Jay said was super messed up. He's like, he didn't mean it. He said he's been going through a lot. He had been upset. He said he has been very oozy lately, which was funny because it broke everybody in the ring. like, like Jimmy Jimmy ain't saying, so Jimmy just got the belt over his mouth like this, fell over there trying to hold it together. Reigns and Jimmy literally, Reigns and Jay literally like took like 3 minutes just like trying to get themselves together. And he keep looking at Jay, and Jay looking at him like they like, you good? Like they like coming like, you ready? Jay like they keep going. Jay like, all right. He like, okay. He's like, and then a fan start chanting Uzi. He's like, so he said that's the problem. Jay ain't feeling Uzi. He said if Jay can't find his inner Uzi again, he said I'm gonna do something you won't like. He said, I'm going to take the honorary off Sammy's name and make him a full-blown Uso. He said, no, wait. I'm just going to change Sammy's name to Sammy Uso. Sammy Uso. And after that, the crowd chants Sammy Uso. Heyman gets the mic and he said the tribal chief called the end to this segment. And then he mentions that he will defend his title against Logan Paul. And that's the end of that. Bray Wyatt will come out to address his demons. We get a new vignette from the Viking Raiders and Sarah Logan. Said they'll celebrate the God about their guidance. We are blind. Then a man says, but not with you we see. Then the woman said the gods have opened and the Valhalla awaits. Next, we have the New Day versus the Maximum Male Models. The New Day said they isn't sure if the New Day said they isn't sure if they're more Rick Martel, Tyler Breeze, or Billy and Chuck. Kofi started in on Benoit and hands it off to Woods. Then Masai takes Wood down to the aprons. Villain take over. This don't last long. Hot tag to Kofi. He claims how Midnight out finished Masai at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So they lose this match. And this part about it was funny. So they did that. You gotta watch the. So they do like these like backstage things. You gotta watch them because this shit was funny. So Maxine Dupree. Well, first Masai. No. God, I keep getting their names wrong. No, you got Masai and Masai. Masai? Yeah, so he's walking him back to the locker room. Like, he like in his arms carrying him. And he's already like, why I gotta lose? Why we gotta lose? He's like, why we gotta lose? He's like, it's my birthday. Now I know all days. Why I gotta lose? This is like the exclusive backstage thing. And he like crying, having a temper tantrum. So Maxine Dupree walks in. She's like, look. She's like, I got a present for you. And it's a cupcake with a candle in it because it's his birthday. She like, make a wish. He blows out the candle. And he goes to eat the cupcake. She slaps out his hand like, you ain't supposed to eat it. And he started crying like, why did you get it for me if I'm not allowed to eat it? Then the one dude comes back. One dude comes back with the cupcake. He like, hey, do me a favor. He's like, hold this for me. Watch this for me real quick. He leaves the ring. And then he's like, my wish did come true. So I guess his wish was for to get a chance to eat the cupcake. She walks back in and says, no carbs. And then just walks out. And he starts crying again. I don't know what the hell happened with that. That was funny. Your girl Kayla Braxton is backstage with Sonya Deville. She asked Deville should be answering Ronda Rousey's open challenge. Deville said she won't ruin the element of surprise, but one person that won't be answering will be Liv Morgan. Liv attacks her out of nowhere. They brawl, so pull away brawl. So Braun Strowman said that there's someone bigger and stronger than you. He said almost as clearly bigger but stronger. They showed clips when he was tripping over cars and trucks and stuff in the past. He said everyone's seen him rip off cars, flip over ambulance, and pick up tractor trailer because it's a challenge to him and it excites him. And he said he felt that same excitement when he looked at Giant almost last week and he thought, wow, what a challenge this could be for me. Because when it comes to challenges, the bigger the better. And he said almost will find out that there's no giant too big for the monster and all men. Braun laughs, snarls it off. Next, we get Open Women's Challenge. I like the way how Ronda came out here. She basically just like not interested. Interested. She's like, you know what? It's like, let's get this shit over with. That's what she said. Like, man, let's get this over with, man. Who lucky tonight? And then all you hear that is all about me. Emma is back. Yes, she is back. Still wearing them fine ass knee high boots that with the whole Emma thing. Of course, you know I'm a big fan of Emma. Remember to that Indies event, I got like the autograph and the picture and everything like that. But this ain't the what's name. It's her and her Tenille Dashwood mode, so she's still like showing like the impact, like she's the impact. So I guess Triple H probably gonna roll with it. She gets kicked to the floor. And then Ronda misses a charge into the steps. Destiny, she gets a little bit of control. She hits a tarantula, high cross body. Emma hits a running clothesline, Russian leg sweep, ankle lock, that counts to a wheelbarrow suplex. And then, this is what I hate about what they do at Ronda Rousey. So, she she gets pushed into the ref and then she raises her eyes. I hate that because, like, I get it. Y'all want to make Ronda Rousey like a heel, but again, Ronda Rousey don't need to do that to be a heel. She just need to just kick everybody's ass, like, non-stop. Like, keep that R-bar cranked on, longer than you're supposed to, like she did. 6-minute match. So, she got some time. She's already lasting longer than Emelina. I mean, so, maybe might do something with this one. Of course, you also know, too, Triple H, she was one of the early pioneers of the first NXT with Paige. So we got last woman standing match for the Raw Women's Championship at Crown Jewel, Bayley versus Bianca Belair. And then you also got the Uso defend the tag team title against the Brawling Brutes. Jey Uso tried to talk to Reigns. Heyman said he'd take care of it. Jey is pleased, but Heyman seems to know that Jey is in trouble. Shayna Baszler congratulated Ronda Rousey on her victory when Natalya pops up. Natalya says she would have won if she would have answered the challenge. And then Baszler instantly chokes her out. So maybe they might be lining them two up probably, or going to try to do something with that probably. Not sure yet. Next we get Legado del Fantasma versus Hit Row. And they need a mystery partner. You know who their mystery partner is?
Who?
It's one Shinsuke Nakamura.
For Legato?
No, for Hit Row.
Oh, okay.
So he's their mystery partner. Brawl, Hit Row, clean house. Leaving 4 on them to hit Nakamura. Come on. They did the come on thing after as they go on a break, mocking Del Fantasma. Adonis is in trouble. Del Toro hits a top rope splash. Nakamura comes in off a tag, cleaning house, including a sliding German suplex to Escobar. Top Dollar comes in for the world's strongest wasteland. Running chop to the head. Knocks Wild Sally Kinshasa. Ends this match at 5 minutes. So, Paul Heyman shows Roman Reigns some of Logan Paul's boxing, which Reigns says is a waste of time. Heyman knows Paul has metal pins in his hands to knock people out. Reigns says it's his third. It's funny because Reigns like, it's his third match. And then Heyman was like, Brock Lesnar won a UFC Heavyweight Championship in his third match. And then that pissed Reigns off. Reigns off. And he just looks at Heyman, and Heyman runs off and does something else. So, there's 2 members of the Bloodline that fairly pissed Roman Reigns off tonight. LA Knight don't think much of SmackDown, so Ricochet comes. Oh, my fault. LA Knight, Puma Aces, said he don't think much of SmackDown. Ricochet comes in to offer some advice. Knight says, I'm not impressed, so.
Are you at the main event or no?
That match, no.
Okay, I had to run across some water.
Alright. Karrion Kross versus Madcap Moss. Yeah. This match actually went 11 minutes, believe it or not. So they gave Madcap some time here. But he basically got down the majority of this match, though.
I knew it. The way you said it.
I mean, Moss got some moves in. He got a spine buster in. I mean, a couple of running shoulder. I mean, he took control. You went to break. Once he came back from break, it was kind of over after that. But yeah, he basically got beat up, though, this whole match. Post-match, Cross chokes out Moss, grabs the mic, and said McIntyre is a much weaker fighter, and that Cross will always stand for the new beginning. McIntyre is done at Crown Jewel. So they set these two up for Crown Jewel too. It's probably one of the funniest parts. One of the funniest parts right here. So, Rey Mysterio is ready for Gunter when he gets jumped by Imperium. And Gunter basically hits a big old chop on Rey Mysterio. Lays him out. Then, well, not our main event, but we get to our last segment of the night. Which, oh, come on. Load. You're not gonna load.
What you do? Lost your button place?
No, hold on. Oh, no. No, I was talking about how Rey Mysterio ate a Gunter chop after he got attacked. And poor Rey, you know, probably the power of one of them chests probably weighs more than him. All right, so now final Sunday night is Bray Wyatt. Wyatt, he takes the mic after fans cheer him. He said he can really get used to this. He like, do you feel this? Like, this is what adrenaline feels like. Fans chant welcome back. Wyatt said when fans does that, it makes him feel vulnerable. Like he needs to do something loud. He said he wants the fans to see that he's very proud of it. He said it's just Wyatt and the fans, no mask, he's hiding behind no smoke and mirrors. Just me and you. He said, I can get used to this. This is Bray Wyatt, the real man. Wyatt said this is the best version he'll ever be. He is proud to be here today, and he's going to do some spectacular things. The truth is, majority of Wyatt's life is out of control. He can't help that. His emotions don't work like most people. He don't have control sometimes, and sometimes they can send him to a very dark place. No matter how hard he tries, he don't feel anything at all. The fans keep cheering. He said this is what makes him. He said, to get here, I had to do some really horrible things. And that part of me that's truly not afraid to do all those things, he said, when I face adversity, graphic flash again, we get another QR code. I didn't scan this QR code this time. Last one was a psychopath. I'm like, that's enough for me. Okay, I think I'm perfectly sane. Next, Uncle Howdy is here. And it's a mask with a distorted voice on the big screen. It looked like it may be white in a larger mask. To make him like a bizarre older uncle. Who am I? This is how he says. He said, I'm just a ghost from the man who saved the world. Then he taunts Wyatt, saying that people are the reason Wyatt is the shell of what he once was. He also said something about knowing the truth about Wyatt doesn't wear the mask. He said you can't run from your Uncle Howdy. A tear run down his face. Then a graphic image flashed as Wyatt logo appears as SmackDown goes off the air. So, that is the end of SmackDown.
Alrighty then. Let's get over here and get into some Rampage so we can get going for the night.
Get the fuck on nobody.
Sorry, my phone was loaded, folks. Alright, over on Rampage. Night starts off. Now, I found this very interesting, and I only say this because they usually tape Dynamite and Rampage in the same city, you know, to save on travel and stuff like that, which I totally understand. So, as Moxley got jumped by the Firm at the end of that match, as I told you, he also opened Rampage against our favorite coke dealer in wrestling.
Oh, Lord.
Money Matt Menard. Cool Hand Ann's trying to interfere from the outside. So I was like, isn't it weird that you just got jumped and you right back out for the opening match? Like 20 minutes later, probably in real time. Though on TV, they said like it was like 48 hours ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah.
Anyway, first time I think I've seen that. Anyway, so Moxley's here against Matt Menard, non-title, and Angela Park on the outside, as I said. Moxley starts the match off, waiting for a minute to knock Parker. Not Cool Hand Ann off of the ringside. Just distraction allows enough for Menard to get wrist control and try to strike Moxley, but it doesn't matter. Menard is able to block a figure 4 attempt. Parker gets in a shot that we don't see. We take a break, come back. Matt Menard is choking Moxley against the ropes. Moxley quickly grabs a cutter to get himself out of trouble. Moxley tells Menard to hit him before hitting the King Kong Lariat. For the knockdown, ankle lock goes on. Menard acting mad to kick away from Freedom. Parker tried to interfere once again. He gets cuttered as well. Menard hits a cheap shot off of the distraction. Menard gets in his own kicks, but gets pulled into a choke and passes out at 8 minutes into the match. Your winner, John Moxley. Post-match, Stokely Hathaway comes out for a conversation with Lee Moriarty and plays a video of Lee Moriarty trying to introduce himself like he's something new that we haven't already seen before, talking up Tiger Style and all this other shit. So he basically, with that Tiger Style, challenges Moxley. Moxley said the Blackpool Combat Club likes Moriarty, and we were going to bring you on. We decided to turn against us. That was a big mistake. This match is on. I'm going to make an example out of you next week, basically. We'll get another number one contender tournament coming together. The tournament, World Title Eliminator Tournament, with the winner getting the title shot at winner is coming. First entrant, Dante Martin. Second entrant is Ethan Page. Finally getting the push over there in All Elite, which I like to see. Good for him. He
deserves it.
Good for him. He's always put in good work.
Yeah.
I told you a couple weeks ago he had me fucking dying in that match he had against Isaiah Cassidy. We kept mocking Matt Hardy during the match. That shit was funny as shit, dude. That's the shit he can do. He can wrestle seriously, and you can believe him, but he can also be fucking hilarious at the same time. So I wish he got more of a push. I like Ethan Page, so good for him. So I'll skip that when he comes up with a promo later, but he basically just had an interview segment where he basically announcing himself, saying he needs to get in his interview. And he basically said what I said. Like, I should have been getting my chance here. Now I'm finally taking it. Now that I'm with the firm or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Jade Cargill, they started training and doing pull-ups, and he's promised to take her title back from Nyla Rose. Next up, Keith Lee versus Serpentico. You want to take a wild guess how long this match went?
30 seconds.
Close.
Ooh.
17. Serpentico
Give too much time.
Serpentico, he chopped away at Keith Lee, and Keith Lee hit him with the Spirit Bomb so damn fast the match was over in 17 seconds. Basically, this is just a cue for him to be able to talk on the mic. Post-match, Tony Schiavone gets in the ring and talks to Lee about a Full Gear Tag Team title match. Before Lee can say anything, because I figured he was going to address his partner's recent round of cheating.
Gonna use some big ass words to do it.
I have to say, personally for me, I know I big up a lot of AEW. I cover them here for the show. They've had some bad moments in their history. To me, I don't care what anybody else says. This is my personal opinion. To me, this next segment was up there with that one they always dogged the Dark Order for, where you could see him openly missing the punches during the match from like 2 years ago on Rampage, or 2 years ago on Dynamite right before Christmas break. They were trying to play him. This is before Dark Order got Brody Lee in and stuff like that, and like rehab their image and stuff like that. But this next segment they had come up, they basically show he's interrupted by Swerve, right? Swerve kidnapped because the Acclaim comes out after the match to start talking down Keith Lee about the match, and they say, "Where's Billy Gunn? Where's Billy Gunn? We ain't seen him." And then Tony's like, "Billy Gunn's at home, no wrestling an injury." They say, "Tony, no, he's not. Where his family? We would have known about that. Where he at?" All of a sudden, Swerve comes on the screen with his maniacal ass laugh, and he has Billy Gunn tied to a chair and shit, and said, "You ain't gonna make it to Billy. You ain't making it to Full Gear to help them out." And he's talking, "What are you talking about, Swerve? You ain't gonna do nothing."
Yeah, I hated that shit, man.
So then he pulled out some pliers, and I guess they implied that like he like broke his finger or something like that. But I swear it could look like he was trying to like squeeze his balls with that bitch. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the excuse me. Like Cat Williams did to do it on Friday afternoon.
Crunching on your balls and a one horse open sled.
Exactly. That's how they made it seem.
It was too funny.
To me, it came off as super cheese. I was like, with a maniacal laugh on top. I was like, I'm disappointed in this, in you and AEW. Like, y'all did not need to do this right here. But I digress. We'll see where it goes. They have been doing a lot of story building with them recently, so I'm gonna give it a little bit of a pass. I just say personally, I think it's cheese, so I hope it goes somewhere. and we'll see what happens from there.
Hello?
Moving on from here.
What up?
Excuse me. Moving on from here, we have the Jericho Appreciation Society. Excuse me. They're pissed off.
Okay.
Jericho Appreciation Society pissed off that, and they're coming out to challenge anyone that's a former Ring of Honor champion. As they've been saying a lot of times in recent weeks, continuing that narrative. Next match that comes up, excuse me, it's Top Mello versus Madison Rain. Sammy Guevara's here with Mello. First starts out with a feeling out process as he flips into a sunset flip, which reverts to a cradle for two. Back up and they yell at each other until Mello hit the backbreaker on the ropes and we take a break. We come back with Madison managing to get a DDT and a neck breaker for two. Rain catches her on top with a super cutter right at the end of the late near fall. Mello is back with a spine buster for two and then gets a shock fakes. A quick tie KO finishes off the match. 9 minutes and 22 seconds. Ethan Page promo as I said he was going to cut. Wardlow and Matt Taven getting ready for the main event. Interviewed here by Mark Henry. Taven talks about how he's what's trending in wrestling, calls himself the trend. He has these he's biting off of AJ Styles with the glove, but instead of having personalized gloves, these are just Under Armour gloves. And Wardlow's clowned him for it too. He's like, oh yeah, I see you trying to be cute with your little catchphrase, the trend, or your little white gloves you got on there, but this is gonna end the same way, bruh. You know, Powerbomb Symphony.
Should have said you fake ass AJ Styles. That really would have hurt him.
Then Mark Henry says, well, no more talk. It's time for the main event. So, Taven comes out here. This match goes about 9 minutes. Comes out with the rest of the kingdom. Mike Bennett is Maria Kanellis' husband's name, by the way. Not to play the man. I figured, let me give him some credit there. So, Taven comes out, chops away with no effect, but drop kick puts Wardlow to one knee, unfortunately. That lasts about half a minute. Wardlow sends him flying for stunning, saying, I'm Matt Taven. Big toss over the top, says Taven the outside. It means posturing for a minute. Mike Bennett gets in a cheap shot, allowed Taven to hit a flight of the Condor. Wardlow gets ran to the steps, and we take a break. Back from break with Taven missing the top rope. Stomp. Allowing Wardlow to hit an F10 on him. You can get a spine buster. To plant Taven, so Wardlow offers a distraction, which turns out to be nothing. To stop a 4. But next was a 4 Powerbomb Symphony to retain the title after about 9 minutes. After the match, Bennett comes in, hits the other knee that he didn't already attack during the match on Wardlow to drop him to a knee, which sends Samoa Joe in to make the save, which cues Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs comes out, a shirt off, looking super oiled up, ready to start work, but he comes out as the distraction as Prince Nana and the embassy hit the ring, jumping Wardlow, jumping Joe, beating down anybody they can see that's standing in their way. It ends with Hobbs jumping into the beatdown and holding up the TNT title while Brian Cage holds the ROH TV title up. Oh. So I guess you're going to have Samoa Joe versus Brian Cage soon. Also Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm looking to all of that horse fights going on. And that was in the Rampage. And I believe that's the end of the week, right? What we got coming up next week, man? Shoot, we doing next Sunday, so Full Gear, as we were saying.
That's next week?
I do believe so.
So it will be a show on Full Gear.
Because I believe it's Saturday night, because next week's Rampage that Mike Tyson's gonna be at is in New Jersey, and they're doing the two night thing. So like part of Full Gear, some of the matches from Full Gear are probably gonna be on Rampage. So like almost like the matches they would have had on their pre-show or such.
Right.
And then you get the bulk of the main card on the main show.
Okay.
On Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm just wasn't particularly sure about the date. That's why.
I do believe it is September 7th because tomorrow's the 31st. So, or either the 6th maybe. I don't know. Are you looking it up on your phone?
Hold on. I'm looking looking that up for you now.
As you do that, I'm pulling up Ryan.
It's a long way for Full Gear.
Why you say that?
Let's say November 19th.
I guess I'm off. I thought it was the first weekend of November.
Nah.
You sure that's not last year?
Positive.
Throw me my phone. I can tell you right now. I already got pulled up over there.
It's year 2022, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday, November 19th.
Okay, so Saturday, November 19th. Okay, so then Tyson's gonna be on that one that's the night before that, which would be in New Jersey.
I will double check to make sure though. Yes, November 19th.
Okay. Well,
because they got the matches: John Moxley versus MJF for the AEW Championship,
so
Tag Team Championship, Swerve and Rock versus the Acclaim, and then the Eliminator Tournament final for the AEW World Championship.
So next week we'll have more of a regular show as we always do here.
Yeah.
Hot Tag Wrestle Corner.
Yeah. I mean, no pay-per-views.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's get out of here. Also, in 2 weeks is Crown Jewel coming up. So Full Gear is Saturday. Crown Jewel is probably that Sunday. And on top of that, they're in Saudi Arabia. That might be that Friday.
This Crown Jewel actually moved.
You know, the Saudi Arabia shows be like at noon on a Friday.
This Crown Jewel will actually be a good one, though.
Yeah, Brock versus Black Brock. I can't wait.
I mean, the last woman standing match between Bianca Belair and Bayley. I mean, actually have some good ones. I really don't care much for Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul. But Logan Paul impressed me, though. So I
don't care until Roman Reigns gets to WrestleMania, right?
Oh, you know he's retaining. This is just more for me, though. I want to see Logan Paul, could improve he improved, what's the name? You know, is he getting better and better, you know? So I want to see. You're there against Roman Reigns now. I mean, ain't gonna be that hard. He's probably gonna take 8 Superman punches and a shit ton of spears.
So then the inevitable conclusion of this should be him versus Bad Bunny next, right?
Hell, your 2 best celebrity ones that last had come out. That'll be a good. Oh God, not yet, but that'd probably put on a good match though. I mean, Bad Bunny takes that shit serious. They talking about he about to be wrestling again. Yeah, I mean, Triple H was backstage with Post Malone, I want to say.
Oh no.
Was it with Post Malone? They was doing the Triple H thing, just put the water up. Yeah, same thing I said.
No, I don't want to see him in the ring.
I don't want to see him in the ring.
He look, I don't know, man. He drinks too much Miller Lite and squares. He would look like a white Muppet out there trying to wrestle.
Yeah.
I just can't see.
I mean, hell, Action Bronson went in there and he was out of shape 4 minutes.
You see his size, though? Yes, he gasped, but his size makes sense to be in the ring. That made sense.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, he's a rapper. And
Snoop Dogg looked at
he smoked cigarettes. You said he smoked cigarettes and drink Miller Lite. He probably ain't gonna have that much damn to either. We know why he ain't gonna have none in the ring.
Snoop Dogg's body looked like his bones was made out of
Snoop don't have no excuse.
Because
Snoop smoked weed. Weed ain't gonna affect you that much. It wasn't he was keeping backstage.
It's like his bones was made out of joints.
Yeah.
The way he did the splash, bro.
I know.
Hell no.
My man ain't had no ACLs.
And then instantly Sasha Banks didn't want to claim him that ain't my uncle. I ain't teaching him that.
Do you blame her?
And still though, that's
do you blame her though? I get it, but do you blame her though?
That's supposed to be your fault.
Do you blame her though? Come on, man, you know better.
That's her fault. What if she was like, I don't want to bang on him in WWE? You better for your job.
Some shit Vince probably would did.
So, for Clinto, I'm Rob.
I'm Clint.
I'm going to watch the Cavs game. Take us home, Ryan.
Damn.
Yeah, I do gotta get the SD card. I forgot about that. I'll cop it though. Let's just go on Amazon.
Next week. Do I want to put the... Man, Tampa Bay offense been so ass, but so had the Rams defense been so ass.
Yeah, I wouldn't. What, for this week?
No, for next week.
What they play?
Tampa.
Oh, they're playing each other?
Yeah.
I'd go with the Rams.
Another thing about putting their defense in. San Fran on the bye, so I got a bench defense. I'm loading up with Chargers versus the Falcons
Tampa
next
Bay
week.
suck right now. And Tom Brady's.
Only person getting fancy points is Leonard Fournette.
And Tom Brady done ruined his life. Coming back for a 3-5 football team. I ain't gonna say he ruined his life, but he ruined his marriage.
Austin Eckler, yep. Henderson about to get cut after this week. He ain't been doing shit for me.
Why'd you even have him?
Picked him up for the 1 week, and then the running back market is so damn thin.
I feel bad for anybody that